Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Power 2 podcast presented by Get Defensive Sports Networks, where we are here to talk about the power of a just God, a good God, because the Ohio State Buckeyes beat Michigan.
You didn't even introduce us.
God, a just God comes before my co-host. And here
Y'all are the worst type of fan. Y'all are the worst type of fan.
Worst type of fan. Actually, I have one word. Go ahead.
And here to talk about this Ohio State win with me, maybe some other things. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about
plenty of other
things. Maybe we'll talk about college football as a whole. But me with my co-host.
Where am I at?
This is Get It Out the Mud. We had Rashad McCants.
I'm here as always with DJ and Dante.
What an intro. What an intro.
Oof, what
this man.
I mean, and he's got his Ohio State Buckeyes shirt on, and guess what? You can see that shirt.
Fresh and fitted too.
Yes, he's got a fresh haircut, it looks like.
Look,
you can see Jordan's fresh haircut.
Got the haircut today.
You can see Dante in his do-rag. You can see me with makeup on my face today. If you check us out on YouTube, because here's the thing, you guys are listening to us on audio, and we love that for y'all, but we are on YouTube. You can get all of our facial expressions. You can get all of the moments of us laughing at each other's ridiculosity on YouTube. Get Defensive Sports Network. Check us out.
Yes, do that.
Look at you.
Do that. So
our views are going down. So I'm like, somebody come over to the damn YouTube.
Yeah. Ohio State won. So you know how I'm doing. How are you all doing?
Starting.
Hey, if you let me finish.
No.
Let me ask you how
Let's
y'all
ease
are
into
doing.
Ohio State. Let's ease into Ohio State.
How are y'all doing today? How was your Thanksgiving?
Let's ease into Ohio State. Kent State got the dub over the
weekend.
weekend.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? First of all, 5 wins. 5 wins. That's big for us. That's big for us. And we hired the coach. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, things are looking up. Things are looking up. We had 1 win in 2 years. Now we got 5. And it's literally, they said it is the second biggest turnaround in Kent State football history. We're building something here.
Second biggest.
Wow, what was the first biggest?
Probably 0 to 6 wins. No, it does.
Oh man,
we're building something out here in Kent, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Big flashes.
You know, I'm a fan of poverty sports. I live in Dallas, so we love poverty.
That is not the same thing. Like, don't disrespect our struggle. When you're talking about a team, just because they haven't won a championship since you were alive, don't mean nothing when they have 7 of them.
Our struggle is not a cosplay.
It's poverty sports.
My struggle is not a costume.
It's not a costume. Not a costume.
We're celebrating.
Anyway,
you adopted this culture. We were born in it.
Molded by it. I didn't see a bowl game until I was already a man. And by then it was nothing to me but blinding.
Oh my gosh, the drama, the history makes. I don't know if the 3 of us are gonna make it. How am I doing, everybody? Oh my gosh, I'm great. Thanks for asking, I think.
You're welcome. I did ask.
He did. He said, how are we doing?
Right. I will get into how I really feel when we get to it. Because I froze my ass off in California for no good goddamn reason. But we will get there. So
those words don't make sense together.
Yeah, it don't.
It was colder in California than it was in Texas.
Yeah.
Was flabbergasted. Now here's my problem. Is that I falsely believe that I falsely believe that all of California is warm because I am an ignorant Southerner and we didn't really learn geology. See, geography all that good. So in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, California is warm all the time. And I looked up the weather. I knew it was a little bit cooler, like it was cool, like it was in Texas, but I'm like, it's still California. It didn't really occur to me like, bitch, Berkeley is the mountains. It's cold.
It was like, wasn't it like 50 degrees?
It was cold. It was cold. And here's the thing. There's going to be nothing more frigid than what I experienced in State College. There's nothing more frigid than State College. However, it was frigid in that bitch. It was frigid.
Dante.
It was frigid.
I let her have it because I'm a good friend, and I understand she lives in Texas, so that was cold for her. But while she was talking to me about this, I was getting canceled on by my sister, who has my niece and nephew, my brother. I was going to meet his girlfriend, and my best friend, who because all of them live in Northeast Ohio and couldn't drive to Columbus because of the snow on the ground. So, like, while she's complaining about this,
That
I'm
is
like,
a climate
I'm not
that
going to
you
see
people are accustomed to.
drove 9 hours for Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to see my family. And she's complaining. You know, I let her have it because I'm a good
That
friend,
is a
and I understand that's
climate
cold for her.
that you
But
northern
I'm
blacks are
just
used
sitting there.
to.
I'm just sitting there
Y'all are
looking at
built
my
different.
phone as my entire
The
family's like,
DNA is
yeah,
different.
we can't make the drive because of the snow and the
I
ice on
am
the
a
ground
Southerner.
because we're
Bruh.
afraid we're gonna like crash. And she's like, oh, 50 degrees.
I am a Southerner. I come from slaves who worked outside in the blistering heat.
50
we don't come
degrees.
from them same slaves. What are we talking
Y'all's
about?
no, it's
What?
colder up there. No,
You don't think we
Oh,
have you
just
not heard
because
of
you
the
missed
Great
the
Migration?
Great Migration.
Even the Great Migration.
We were
I'm
just
just
born in
saying.
Ohio.
I'm just saying the generations of your Negroes have had time to adjust to the cold.
You, your Negroes.
we playing the Negro Olympics today.
It's like, what's happening?
I'm just saying, as a Southern Negro,
and you mad at
I
me
am
for
not
talking
accustomed
about
to
Ohio
cold.
State? No. We're not. Ohio State won. Dante, how are you doing today?
Gosh, I hate it.
How was
Man,
your Thanksgiving?
my Thanksgiving was good. It's funny because I drove up on Thanksgiving early in the morning. By the time I got to Cleveland, like as soon as I parked, snow just started coming down like crazy.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I didn't bring boots. Like, so I going
The
up.
lack of
It
boots
was
is
good.
nuts.
Yeah, I bought them. The next day I bought some
Well,
boots.
I had to go to a store in California because, again, I'm like, it's 60 degrees. It'll be fine. It didn't really like click until I was
Did you
in
have
the
on
state.
sandals?
No, I had no. I had on like warm clothes. I just didn't have a jacket. So I went to a thrift store like near my hotel and went and got a jacket. And God bless that jacket, because if I did not have it, I would have been dying. Like it was so cold. It was so cold, and I think I was
I
just
guess
in
50
shock.
degrees at night is pretty chilly. It's a little nippy, you know?
Yeah.
It was colder
No,
than
it has
I
a
was
little
like
bite
mentally
to it.
prepared
A
for.
little-
You know how like when you're mentally prepared for the cold, then you take it a little bit better than when you're not mentally prepared for the cold. It's like the shock
when
makes
you're-
it colder.
Yeah,
That's where I was.
you know when you're mentally prepared for 30 degrees and then the wind chill is 12 degrees? Yeah, real winter.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about
You're not
that.
ready for that.
That's why I said you people and you Negroes, not me Negroes. I don't know about that.
You don't know what bone chilling feels like.
I don't, and I don't ever
don't.
want to experience it. State
When your
college
ribs
was
is cold,
enough.
you're like, ooh.
State college was enough. That shit was something I didn't even think
You
it was
still
possible
drink.
for
You
civilization.
still drink coffee and hot cocoa for fun. This is life saving. Like,
And again, Northern Negroes. So, anyways, now that we've had 8 minutes of discussing how cold is, you know what else is cold?
You know what else was cold?
Lane Kiffin's exit from Ole Miss.
No, Ohio State's belt the ass on
No,
Michigan
nigga,
in
we
that
are doing
winter
the
storm.
news.
No.
We need to do the fucking news.
Hold on. Are you looking at the coaching thing?
Nope.
We have a whole thing about coaches. That's not news no
But
more.
why are we talking about Ohio State first?
That's not
during
news
the
no
when we
more.
If you
Go.
looked at the show plan, there's so much happening that we're not doing a full recap of games because we would be here for 3 hours.
You don't have to talk to me like I'm slow.
Well, you're not looking at the show
What?
plan
Who?
that my
Chef, you can't
northern
wait, so she
Negro
definitely
ass
didn't look at the
slaved
show
over for you.
Who is you?
W callback. My northern Negro behind. You know?
So
Nigga.
yes, the news. There's a lot of N-words in this podcast. The news today.
There's three of us.
We're gonna talk about Ohio State, and then you can talk about SMU, and then we're gonna go into coaching, and then we're gonna do some things because there's too much. We all said we can't be here for 3 hours. So also,
Right.
because of the day and the time that we're doing this, we are going to live react to the college football playoff rankings, the penultimate, because they release in 11 minutes.
Dear Jesus,
Okay.
I have no desire. Because
Yeah,
something's
well,
going to piss
this
me
one-
off.
dear Jesus.
This one and this one.
Something
this
is
one,
going to piss me off.
Yeah, and this is the big one because it's the penultimate. Half the teams aren't playing next week, and half the teams that are playing next week are in, even if they lose. Like I think the only teams that are out if they lose is like the North Texas, uh 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 who are they playing? Sorry. North Texas Tulane, that loser's out because
Yeah.
whoever wins that's going to get the G5 spot. There's a tiny chance that Bama's out if they lose, but it's unlikely. BYU
Really
is 100%
interesting.
out if they lose. And that's really it. Ohio State and Oregon are both in. If Georgia loses, they're in. Sorry, Ohio State and Indiana's in if they lose. If Georgia loses, they're in. Virginia's out if they lose. So like there's like, but most of the teams are in. So like this is the big one because like if Miami is ranked 13th, we just know they're not getting in. If Notre Dame is ranked 13th, they're just not getting in. Like this is big because there's only going to be so much movement. So
Oh my,
since we're here on Tuesday,
yeah.
we'll talk about it a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I have no desire at all because I'm about to be mad.
Back to my celebration. Ryan Day, right or wrong, he fixed an ill. He figured out how to do it. He is welcome back in glory and Buckeye Valhalla. It was beautiful.
He won a
It was
national
beautiful.
championship last year.
I know.
He won a natty,
But
exactly, a
you
natty.
have to beat Michigan. But you don't get to win a national championship and then lose to Michigan and think it's gonna be sweet. Like that's crazy.
This is
What if people don't want to know
delusional.
their national championship after losing it?
Then he would have needed to win next year. Like the national championship would have saved the anger. Like that would have been the only option. And winning a national championship is hard. So if we don't win a national championship this year, we can at least say, well, we beat Michigan. If you'd have lost to Michigan again and not won the Natty, then what do we have?
A football program?
A really barely,
a winning football program? Y'all would have gone too far that fall.
Not good enough.
Barely.
Not good enough. No, you need to beat Michigan.
Barely.
And then to make
Y'all
it
would have been
worse
a
this
playoff
year.
program? Wait, hold on.
Wait, and then to make it worse this year, if Michigan would have beat us, they would have been in the playoffs. So we would have been the reason that Michigan was in the playoffs, and we were supposed to be happy. No. So Ryan Day, right or wrong?
But then you can knock them out.
No, that after you lose to them 5 times, we were gonna have faith that they would beat them the 6th time.
I don't have faith in Michigan at all. So
yes, he right or wrong. He fixed the major ill, and it was in the best way possible because the narrative with Ohio State, like we've lost this game 4 times in a row, and in my opinion, which we won't go in deeply, there was one common thing, which is that Ryan Day just couldn't do it mentally, but those games were all different. One of the games for sure, like Michigan was just a better team. Like 2021, I think Michigan, or 2021 or 2023. One of those ones, Michigan was just a better team.
And
last year, we were significantly the better team and didn't win. So it's just like
cheating that time.
No, they were cheating. No, not last year. So like it was just it was a lot going on, right? But everyone kept doing the like, oh, Ohio State's not tough, Ohio State's not this, and Ohio State's not that, and it's like each of those losses were different. But we beat Michigan in the game that they said that we couldn't win in. One, it was cold. It was winter, which is so stupid because it gets cold in Columbus. But for some reason, they were like the Buckeyes can't play in the cold.
It don't get cold like that in Michigan. It does get cold in Columbus, but it don't.
But it wasn't that kind of.
But it was
cold. Yeah. But it wasn't that cold. Like it has been before, but this week it wasn't. But either way, and then you start out the game, and DJ can tell you this because I'm not lying. They go up, they get a 36-yard run. They're moving the ball, kick a field goal. I'm like, I'm not tripping yet. Second pass of the game, they throw an interception. I'm like, I'm not tripping yet. They get another 6 points. I'm like, I'm not tripping. We good. Like, it still feels different. I'm all right. Like, I wasn't ready to crash out. And then we just built, get the lead, get a touchdown on 4th and 5, which is a level of aggression that Ryan Day hadn't showed before because he was scared to play the game. He would do that against like fucking Wisconsin and Rutgers, but he wouldn't do it in the big games. We get a touchdown on 4th and 5. And then the absolute best part is Michigan got held to -8 rushing yards for the entire second half of the game. They had 125 rushing yards in the first half. They were the first team in like 10 games to even get 100 rushing yards on us, and they did it in the first half. And they finished the game with 100 rushing yards. They lost 25 rushing yards, like for their grand total. It was a great game. Jeremiah Smith played. Carnell Tate played, which we were unsure because they were both injured. The first-year quarterback made a mistake, bounced back from it, had no issues. Our freshman running back made Michigan look silly. It was a win is a win, but a win like that was just cathartic when you've lost 4 in a row, especially last year where you shouldn't have lost on God's green earth. I still contend that Will Howard was concussed. If you go back and watch that game, he took a crazy hit in the first quarter, and he looks like he doesn't know where the huddle is for the rest of the game, which contributed to us losing that game. But yeah, Ohio State won. They righted it wrong, and I will end on this because this will lead us into the next thing. There's a lot of conversation right now about, do people care about conference championship games? I can agree that maybe some people don't. Coaches do, players do, and a lot of fans do. Like, Dante, are you do you care that Alabama's in the SEC championship game?
Yeah, because I said if we lost to Auburn, we don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. So
right, and you want to win the SEC, like you want to win the national championship, but you would like to win the SEC, right?
Yeah, because it's been a minute.
DJ, are you upset? You are, because we're going to talk about it. Are you upset that SMU is no longer in the ACC championship game?
In what context?
They're not in the ACC championship game. Are you upset about it?
As a fan or as a staff person?
We're not talking about staff. I know your job sucks. I know you travel a lot. As a fan.
As a fan, this is ass. I think this was the first time all season we actually did have control of over our destiny, and then we didn't control it.
Like people, like national media, and does this whole thing like conference championships don't matter. I was listening to a podcast today, and they're like, Ohio State's not going to care if they lose this. That is not true. Ohio State wants to win this. We haven't been in the Big Ten conference championship game since 2020, and Oregon won before us. Michigan has 3 of them since we've won. Like,
and I think it's the same for Alabama. They haven't played in the game since
a couple years, yeah, because you weren't there last year.
No, I don't think we were there the year before either.
Bama?
Yeah, I don't
think
so.
From what I've heard, it's 3 out of the last 5 years. It's been Bama and Georgia for the SEC.
Right, but it wasn't last year, and I don't know that it was the year before.
No. But like in the last 5 years, they have won it in 3 times.
Then. Okay, I know we haven't won in a while then.
No, you have not won in a while, yeah.
So it's just like, this matters. Like, yes, the national champion, and that's why everyone jokes. It's like, oh, you care about beating Michigan? Yes. You care about making the Big Ten championship game? Yes. Do you also want to win a national championship? Yes. Why can't we have multiple of these things? And then if you don't win the Natty, because it is fucking hard, you can at least say we beat our rival and we won the Big Ten. If Bama beats Georgia twice in 1 year, but they don't win the Natty, you get to say we beat Georgia twice and we won the SEC championship, instead of leaving home with nothing.
And
so it's just
Auburn.
like, yeah,
I'm
and
leaving
you
here
beat
with
Auburn. So it's just like, yes,
something.
These games matter. I'm very happy that we are in the Big Ten championship game, and we can talk about that later as we go on. But that was it. I just Ohio State won. They righted it wrong. I was genuinely considering quitting the podcast if we lost again, because I didn't know how I was going to talk about it.
Anyway.
So
meanwhile, I'm trying to quit the podcast, and
you haven't gone through the years of struggle that I've gone through.
Yes, I have. I'm an SMU fan.
Wait a minute.
Your team is winning and has won. What are you talking to me about?
See now, you are appropriating her culture, and that is kind of
my
crazy.
struggle is not.
I cannot be. I
am a Dallas sports fan through and through. I have poverty sports. My WNBA team is getting the first round draft pick for the second time because we win 9 and I don't know whatever. I know poverty sports. Okay. Thank you. Not that I'm proud of that. I'm just saying. They traded Luka away, okay?
Like, hold on.
That's my city. They traded Luka away in my city.
They did trade Luka away. The Lakers look great. Like, we're not going to talk about basketball right now.
Okay, but they did get blown out by Phoenix last night, and that was kind of embarrassing. But
which is why I don't watch basketball until March, because it doesn't matter.
That's not true. But you can't win.
It does matter.
You can't win every game.
It matters so much.
Those games are going to happen.
They're now 15-4 instead of 16-3. It matters so much.
It matters. First of all, the first 20 games of an NBA season is actually very indicative of where the season is going to end up at the end.
Yep. Yeah.
So it does actually matter. The MVP favorites usually get exposed at this point. The championship favorites usually get exposed at this point. Like a lot of what actually ends up transpiring in the postseason, you see it in the first 20 games.
Right. And they're 15-4. So I think it's
they're
fine
gonna be a playoff
that they
team,
lost
obviously,
one game.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't
it was
matter.
Funny to see. It was funny to see them get blown out, especially because David Booker got injured in the middle of that game. So you would imagine like a less armed
one could argue that
Phoenix,
they're better without Devin Booker, but hey, who am I?
Well, Dylan Brooks had himself a game, so I would argue It's not. Anyway, what are we moving on to?
Did you want to talk about SMU or no?
Not particularly, but I'll go ahead and get into it because I need to talk about how Cal Stadium is the stupidest stadium I've ever been in my life.
Talk about it.
Okay. So let's start off with.
We all can't go to the Commander Stadium because once we do that, we can never say any other stadium is the worst we've ever been to because it's going to be that one.
I can't wait to hear your story because I truly am. My flabber is gasted. So let me just start off with the same attitude that we had going into Wake Forest is the attitude we had going into Cal, which is why I knew we were going to lose as soon as we got there. Let me tell you why. Because you should never underestimate a team that has not a bitch-ass thing to lose. They don't have their coach. They don't have the rest of their season. They're done after this. You don't fuck around with a team that doesn't have anything to lose. And what did we do? We walked up in there and we played with our fucking food. I don't know because Thanksgiving just happened. We played with our fucking food. The defense was abysmal. It was embarrassingly bad. But here's the thing. I never get too high on SMU. As much as I talk about us, and I do have a lot of faith in what we can do as a team, our potential, Coach Lashley, all of that, because I don't think SMU is a bad football team. I do just genuinely think we are on the bubble as far as like elite teams go. We're not elite. We're good, and we can win certain games in certain types of ways off of the genius of our coach. But when you're talking about what's actually on the field, like our defense has always been this bad. It's always been this bad. It's just that the offense was doing a better job of bailing them out. So now we're in a situation where Cal's offense is humming the entire game, and we don't get our shit together until 6 minutes left in the third. We don't have that type of time. Sorry, this is a championship clinching game. We don't have that type of time. Yeah. The offense should have been humming before 6 minutes left in the third. Now, did we have a 27-point or whatever comeback? Sure. Yeah, love that for us. But we should not have been down fucking 24-7 or 3 or whatever at any point. And I would like to point out. Oh, go ahead.
Isn't that what happened in the ACC championship game last year?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no.
That is what happened in the championship game last year. A game that we arguably could have also won had it not been for having to rely on our kicker's leg in the end. And y'all know how I feel about stuff like that. So, of course, we ended up losing the game off of a missed field goal. Shock, my favorite thing in football. And to be freezing on top of that, to be freezing my ass off for that type of embarrassment. Okay, now let's get into the stadium. It's basically built on the side of a mountain, much like Berkeley's entire campus is built on the side of a mountain. Okay, so when you get in the stadium, it's basically like you are climbing a mountain because it's so many stairs. There's no way that stadium is ADA accessible. Like, you cannot convince me. There's so many fucking stairs. Like, you walk in and there's like a concourse that's on the ground level, right? And then if you have seats that are in like, I don't know, letter L through whatever, then you have to go up to the other side. So I walked through the ground concourse. That was a walk. Then I had to walk all the way up, like, I don't even know, like 3 or 4 flights of stairs to get to the section that I was in, just to walk down. And I did not count. They were numbered 90 stairs.
Oof.
90 of them. To get down to my seat because I was on row 8 and the stadium goes up like 90 rows and I was on row 8. So I had to go all the way down into the bowl.
Flights right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to look at my watch to see how many flights of stairs I climbed that day. It was insane. Just then be freezing my ass off. Then when I went and got my food and came back, like I went, got my food and came back and never got up again until it was time to leave. Like, I didn't go to the bathroom. It's too much stairs, and it's beautiful, scenic, all of that. There's turkeys running around in field and back, but it was too much.
What?
It was too much. Yes, they have turkeys. They have turkeys in the forest behind there's like a turkey colony allegedly, and there's also coyotes and it's the mountains.
Yeah.
It's the mountains.
Okay.
But anyways, so I had to sit in a stupid stadium and watch us play stupid football at the same time, whilst also getting notifications during the game that my 8 a.m. flight that I was supposed to have the next morning so I could get the fuck on was getting delayed. By the time the game ended, my flight was delayed 4 hours. So we lost the game. I was freezing my ass off. I can't walk up and down these goddamn stairs no more. And my flight is 4 hours delayed?
That is kind of disgusting.
Your thighs will thank you.
Yes.
For all those stairs.
But what I said and what I will say and what I will continue to say is us going to the college football playoff was not a good thing in our first year in the ACC. That was not a good thing. I know it just sounds like the nation's just being negative, but no, because now we have an overinflated sense of our capabilities when really we made it in because they didn't want to look stupid by letting a 9-3 Bama in. Okay, like we just gotta keep it real.
So I 100% understand what you're saying. I just don't think that you're like, and this is no shade to SMU. I just don't think that your program is in a place where you can say that. Like you're not wrong, but like when you're SMU and you've had the history that you've had, you have to make the playoff, no matter what comes out after that. Like even if you never
No,
make it
yeah,
again.
you're not
So
wrong.
it's just
Yeah,
like
but
you
I'm
are
saying like
right,
from a
but like
logistical
also
standpoint.
because the other team that shouldn't have done what they did last year was Michigan. Michigan shouldn't have beat Ohio State and Alabama in the season because now they're stuck with Sharon Moore, who is not a good head coach. And I hate to say that because I do genuinely root for all the black coaches, and I couldn't really root for him because he's
Not
at
him.
Michigan.
Do we? I
Like
was gonna
I
say,
don't
do
like
we?
him.
Has
Not
he?
that one.
Most black coaches,
No.
but like
What I was gonna say is, has he had enough time to like?
Michigan already wants to fire him.
But he was
Dang.
on the staff. He was on the cheating staff, right? Like he'd been
Yeah,
around for a minute.
he was the offensive coordinator.
But
yeah.
but as a head coach, this is his first time being a head coach, correct?
Right.
Ever, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
do we really know yet?
But
He's only got to recruit once for real,
right.
Like,
So here's the thing with that though. Like when Michigan who just comes off a national championship, their expectation is to keep doing that. And now they've missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. And then remember, it's a 12-team playoff. So at this point, they feel like they've been passed up by Ohio State, who they beat 4 years in a row. They've been passed up by Indiana, who was in the dregs of the Big Ten. They're passed up by Oregon, who wasn't even in the Big Ten. Now they can't consistently beat USC, so they're seeing themselves go from the top of the Big Ten to 4th, 5th, or 6th.
you lost
And they're
your
not
head
and
coach,
coming
and a bunch of
immediately.
people left because of
But
that.
but fans aren't logical. You know what I'm saying? Like fans aren't and then you're also doing this with a first-time head coach. And I would argue, even as a school that has a first-time head coach, these jobs are generally too big for a first-time head coach.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Day figured it out, but not without a lot of trial and
I was
error.
about to say,
Adversity.
Like
Yeah.
not without a lot of and people
wanted him fired.
exactly. That's what I'm
the
saying.
day he got there.
Well, not the day.
Yes.
He took us to the Natty his second
The
season.
first
We
year.
were happy then.
After his first year, then they
we
wanted
were
him
happy
fired.
then. Yeah,
He was.
then
I was about to say I've been seeing fire Ryan Day
for like
since
3 years, but he's been there for
day
9.
one. Like,
So like,
I thought he'd been there for 6.
as a
well,
head
he was
coach,
OC first.
I'm
Oh, you
saying
meant
as
you
a
were
head.
counting. Okay, yes.
I'm talking day one as a head coach.
My bad.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I don't remember that. I don't think so because his second year we were in the national championship game. So like, I don't
And
remember being upset with him
I know I do
until
know he was on the
the
hot seat in the media
2021.
right after that game too.
No, that was not the first one. That was the second one. That was the 2021 one where we lost to Michigan, and then we weren't even in the international championship game. We missed the kick at fucking midnight when me and you were in the club to lose to Georgia. No. That was not that year. But they missed
In
the
the
kick to
club,
lose to
hooked up. I
Georgia,
got my
and
people with me.
that is when it started. That was 3 years in because he's when did he start? He started in 2018, I think. He had that year. Then 2019 was the year we made the Natty. 2020 was the pandemic, and then 2021 is when it started because that's the first year we lost to Michigan, and that's when we lost to Georgia, and then it went downhill. So he had 3 years before people were mad at him.
All right, so most of his career, though.
Right. So
Yes,
only half
yes.
of his time
Yeah,
at
that's the thing.
Ohio State.
I wasn't defending the fan base. I was one of them. I was just saying it wasn't immediate. Like he did have a grace period before people wanted him out.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, the expectations for SMU, I think now are too high. And I guess I also have to always remember that I have the perspective from multiple places because I am also a staff person, and I also recognize how, and this is not unique to SMU, but like how your football team affects consumer behavior, right? So like how engaging people are overall with the university is very heavily informed by how well the sports teams are doing at the time. So
But
with
you're
that
still
being
doing
said,
good.
no, I know. That's
9-3.
what I'm saying. But with that being said, we had such an intense surge in interest because of us making the CFP last year that, and our fans are very fair weather. And I do think this is a specifically SMU thing where like our fans are like so fair weather. Like we could go from having sold out games this season to having nobody in the same, like it won't drop off progressively. Like it will, we are either one or the other is kind of how we are. So I'm just kind of like, damn, now it's going to look like we're supposed to be going on these runs when you actually look at the product on the field, we're not there yet. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I would just, for me, taking a slight step back because I'm not as involved as you are, I think this year was always going to be this, and they overachieved, which would make me feel good for next year. You lost so much this year. If you get a new DC and you return a lot of what you do on offense,
because he's getting fired.
next year can be a good
You
year for
better.
you.
He's
This
getting
year was supposed to be
fired.
like not awful, but like this year was supposed to be bad for you. And the fact that you went and like it obviously sucks, right? To lose when you control your destiny. But like, in
Yeah.
my opinion, and I believe we both said this going into the season, like you wanted them to because you're a fan and you were like wish casting it, but like none of us really believed that they were going to be where they are. It's like,
Oh, of course.
it's sort of like the thing with the Colts right now. We're 8-3 or 8-4.
That's insane.
But it's annoying
That's crazy.
because we started 8-2, but now we've lost 2 in a row.
I
But you
can't
also
believe it.
have to sort of sit back and be like, none of us expected us to even be at 8-4. So it's like you
Yeah.
want better because you're doing
Bro.
better, but you also have to look at like, I thought we were going to win like 5 games. So it's like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
this
we
give
had
and
no
take.
business being there initially, so now everybody thinks that we actually do have business being there. We don't.
I mean, you did it 2 years in a row. That's more than most. Like,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
and this is what I'm saying. Like, I knew that my perspective is going to come off like I'm being like negative, when really I'm just like, no, I'm just looking at the product
this
of
is
the
a
field.
negative sports podcast. Dante won a championship and fucking hated it. Like Dante's still mad that LeBron's on the Lakers. He hasn't smiled about that championship once. Like you don't sound negative to me. I was just providing the
I
full,
know. I'm saying,
you
like,
know.
I know it comes off as very negative, but
Because
it's
look
like,
what it's done to my franchise.
You have
I
Luka.
understand-
Shut up.
done to my
What do you
franchise.
mean?
You have
I
Mitch.
understand that we got lucky and got
You have
got-
D-Mitch.
and again, thank you,
I should
Dallas
not have started
Mavericks.
this. I should not have started this. I'm
But
sorry.
for the we were on a tailspin of going back to what we were before we got him, and it was literally like two good seasons, and it's just been, we knew we were our first round exit since. Like we have a future because you had one of the dumbest GMs of all time.
Well, all right. We'll save this for the offseason. The college football playoff rankings just came out.
I was mad about
Want to
that.
look at them?
The
Hold on, let me
college
pull it up
football
before you start talking. Hold on.
They just came out. And the biggest thing
die.
to notice here
Hold
is
on.
there has been. No, this is an audio medium. You can look it up while I'm talking.
Go ahead then.
The biggest thing to sort of pay attention to, right, as we sort of led up to this, there has been a lot of talk about Miami wanting to be higher than Notre Dame because they played and they won. They beat them in that game, 27-24. But the entire season they've been behind them. All this week, Miami and the ACC have been making this case. Their head coach went on podcast. They tweeted about it. Literally, the ACC network put the Miami Notre Dame game on back to back all day for 2 days to remind people that Miami beat them. And as the rankings come out, Notre Dame is still ahead of Miami, which essentially ensures that Miami is not making the playoffs. They're both 10-2, and Miami beat Notre Dame. And so this is going to be a big thing all offseason of people talking, complaining about the committee. And this, to me, is worse than last year because last year people were complaining about 9-3 Alabama, 9-3 Ole Miss. And it's like, you didn't deserve to get in there. Now, a 10-2 Miami who beat 10-2 Notre Dame and has a better and Notre Dame does not have a good resume, and arguably Miami has a better resume than 10-2
I would have to agree with that. Yeah.
Oklahoma's in the playoff. Alabama's in the playoff at 10-2, but that's fine. And then Notre Dame's in the playoff at 10-2, but they lost to Miami, and Miami is at 13. And unless there's major chaos, no, BYU is 12.
That's conference champ.
Unless there's major, like, Alabama has to lose and get knocked out. BYU has to lose and get knocked out. And that's really all that can happen. And then Duke has to win the ACC. Like, it's going to take basically all of that for Miami to have a chance to get in. And so that's a major storyline because Miami beat Notre Dame, and the committee all season has ranked Notre Dame above Miami. And it's basically like Notre Dame's losses happened earlier because they happened in the first week or two when Miami lost in week whatever it was. They dropped it behind Notre Dame and haven't picked them up since. So that is, I think, the biggest thing that's going to come out of this is they did not respect the head-to-head, and Miami's not going to make the playoff.
And I think that also
shows
but
how I'm confused. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think that shows how inconsistent this committee and these people are. because it depends on the team or the conference in my opinion. That's why I said team or conference, because most of the time head to heads are extremely important to them. It's so important that it's something we bring up as fans and stuff all the time. So it's weird that at this one moment that head to head has no weight to it, and they beat Notre Dame. Like it wasn't like
it was close, but they beat them.
They beat
it was 27-24, and so the thing with the committee
a win
too,
is a win.
right?
So what the fuck are we talking about?
The committee changes either every year or every other year, so it's not the same people.
Yeah,
people are basically saying, and I think it's true.
Well, then
I don't have
that's weird because there should be a set criteria.
Well, supposedly there is, but because it's just a group of people, they do whatever.
They can just pick what they want.
And people who've been like complaining about this have basically said, in their memory, and my memory too, so I can't say they're wrong, this is the first committee who hasn't valued head to head. Last year's, like, the committee started in 2014 to 2024, the head to head has been at least a big talking point. This 2025 committee, and I'm not saying it's the only one. That's 11 years it could have happened, but this is like the biggest kind of thing that I can remember where a head to head, and it's just,
and it's weird because it's like, this is Notre Dame and Miami. These are big names.
Yeah, they're both huge
huge names.
Notre Dame's best win is USC.
That's weird. That's because there's no excuse for this to not be even a talking point.
Yeah, and then the other thing,
at least explain why they're not using the head to head as rationale. Like, what's the explanation? Because
and then the fact that Jordan even brought up Oklahoma's resume being worse than Miami. So I beat Notre Dame, who you got in there, and I've beaten better teams,
and I'm better than OU.
At OU, who you also have in there. This might be the one time this might be the one time like Miami fans got a right.
Yeah.
To be
like,
mad. They should.
I think there's two fan bases that will have a right to be upset. I think Miami's fan base will have a right to be upset, and I think BYU's fan base has a right to be upset if BYU.
I can agree with that as well.
BYU's fan base. I've been reading so much about it because I don't follow BYU, but I have just been reading so much about it, and I'm like, it really does kind of make sense. Like, if you're beating top 5 teams, you're 11-1. Why is it that the only way you can make it into the playoffs is if
they didn't beat any top 5 teams?
Yes, they did. They were saying, or top 10, maybe it was top 10, but they were the teams that they had beat. They were ranked. The ranked teams they beat were in the top 10.
Ranking teams because when they beat Utah was ranked.
Utah was ranked. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe like I said, I'm not a fucking expert on BYU, but I'm just saying, like,
I think they have
Utah was
wins.
13.
Okay, top 20. They're beating ranked teams is the point.
Yeah, I think they have 11-1 ranked team wins on their record.
They're 11-1. So to me, it's like, I'm sorry, this whole committee thing, all of this to me is just a way to continue to infuse the SEC and Big Ten propaganda into the playoff. Like, it's becoming an SEC and Big Ten invitational. It's not based on merit. It's getting ridiculous. And here's the thing. We know with a lot of college sports, it just can't always be based on merit. And we understand that. We know that there's certain brands or programs or whatever that just, it feels like you can't have a playoff or a postseason without them, right? Like, insert Kansas or Kentucky or whoever for basketball, right? However, also, then you end up with bullshit like this, where it's not even the best teams actually competing. It's the teams that the committee feels needs to be no, this is some bullshit. Like, if Miami beat Notre Dame and Notre Dame is in, then Miami's in. Like, 1 + 1 does actually equal 2.
Yes.
And then the problem
especially when they have the same record.
Right. When they have the same record. Because right now, we got 9-3 Texas over here campaigning to get in as if they have a chance. Y'all lost to booty, butt cheek Florida. And they were like, yeah, but like, if we didn't lose it, then we could have won and then we would have shut up.
And that's Miami's thing. Like, they haven't focused a lot on Texas because it doesn't matter that much. But they're also in their pitches like, by the way, Texas is trying to get in. We beat Florida. Y'all lost to Florida.
And Kentucky took you to overtime. Like, please. Like, I just feel like the fact that you feel like you can even campaign, though, is, to me, just goes to show
Notre Dame
how ridiculous
have any legit what is it? Definitive wins, like they blew teams out that are like legit good teams.
No, they blew out Pitt.
No.
So my thing is even their resume is worse than Miami's.
Well, so that's the thing. They blew out Pitt, right? But Miami also blew out Pitt.
Still blew out
so
Pitt.
Miami's thing is like, we beat you and we have common opponents and we did the same thing. Like, these resumes should stack up. It's not like we went to overtime with Pitt and you blew them out. You blew them out, we blew them out. We beat you. You play half an ACC schedule. We're in the ACC. Like, this is the most direct comparison. And I don't know.
No, this is bullshit. I'm sorry. This is bullshit.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add
up. I think
because they have to have their 5 SEC teams in. Is there 5? No, there's 4.
Yeah, it's gonna be 5 basically.
Yeah, but they have to have their 5 SEC teams in. And this is what
to me is crazy.
I feel the Big 12 commissioner. I feel him on saying like, if we're gonna do this, we need to have guaranteed spots because it is getting kind of ridiculous.
No.
I feel him on that.
That's the Big 10.
Big 10.
And the Big 12 and the ACC both said no to that proposal, and now the Big 12 has an 11-1 team that's about to get left out. And the ACC has, if Duke wins the ACC may get 0 teams in because Duke has 5 losses.
They're 7-5.
It's unlikely that even if they're the ACC champion, they're gonna get in. So if Duke wins the ACC,
terrible precedent, by the way.
Right? Well, no, it doesn't, because it's the 5 highest ranked champion.
A 7-5 team shouldn't even be in the championship. Is what I was getting.
Well, yeah, that's a tiebreaker thing that hopefully they change. But like, so like the Big 12 has a 12-0 team. No, they have 2 11-1 teams, and one of them's gonna get in, and the other one's not. The only loss, like Texas Tech, BYU's only loss is to Texas Tech. We're assuming that Texas Tech beats them again because it wasn't close. But BYU is 11-1, not gonna get in, and the Big 10 was like, hey, we want 4-4-2-2. You will get 2. We'll get 2, and then you can figure out how you an AC would get 2, we get 4, whatever. And I know that sounds crazy, but again, we did the math. I did a whole thing on it. Historically,
we talked about it.
That's what the averages would be. They both said no. They both said we want to earn it on the field, and immediately.
But they're still not earning it on the field.
But that's what we said.
No, I would say technically they are. I think they technically are earning it on the field. They're getting robbed.
Well, not the ACC, yes.
Yes, they're getting robbed. Yes.
They're getting robbed.
And we said that because we could see it.
Stupid.
We said that because we could see it. But for them, they're like, we want to earn it on the field. But earning on the field doesn't matter if they don't respect that you did it.
If the committee doesn't give a shit.
11-1, 11-1 is good.
It's in.
11-1,
what are we talking about?
You have
and then it's really
wins.
weird. They should have accepted it when they were trying to keep an 11-1 Big 10 team out.
Yes, because they were trying to, but that's the other thing you think about is like they were advocating for Indiana not to make it over 9-3 SEC teams. You think they're gonna care about you, the Big 12 and the ACC? And that's the thing. In my opinion, this 5 SEC thing is just an overcorrection because last year they only got 2. Oklahoma should not be in the playoffs.
Oklahoma
should not. They did.
Who the fuck cares?
They did, and this is what happened. Oklahoma should not be in the playoffs.
Which is weird because the ACC has 2 or 3 national championships in this time
in this span. Yeah.
But So,
but this is the problem, is because the propaganda of the SEC being the best conference in college football has not been true for at least the last 4 years. And what's pissing me off now is that every committee is drinking the SEC Kool-Aid, and then everybody else has to deal with the fallout of it. This is what this is about. And the Big Ten a little bit, but even the Big Ten doesn't get nearly as good press as the SEC.
And I don't agree with everything that the Big Ten commissioner does, but I think that the conference championship thing, which we talked about all summer. Me and you talked about it, DJ. Me and Dante talked about it. I don't think we got a chance to talk about it together because we weren't doing a joint podcast, but we went through it. We looked at all the things that were coming out, and to me, it made the most sense. It did. And this is 100% why. Because you have 5 SEC teams getting in, and Oklahoma doesn't have an offense. And you can't do this, but BYU, in my opinion, BYU would probably beat Oklahoma. But Miami did beat Notre Dame, and neither one of those things matter right now.
And here's the thing. The problem that I will always have with the committee, and this is, I don't give a fuck. The problem that I always have with the committee is that there's just so much room for human perversion. When it comes to professional sports, which is kind of the reason why I like it so much, is that it's your record. And it's just your fucking record. It's not who the team is. It's not who the coach is. It's not what conference you're in. It's not, what am I talking over?
Yeah, he's probably watching the thing.
I think I missed it. I was trying to see if they explained why no Miami.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
But
I didn't realize it was
yes,
so loud.
There's nothing that can explain it. I'm sorry.
there's nothing that can
There's
explain that.
not.
But
I just wanted to see what they said.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why I
You're
gravitate more
right.
towards professional sports when it comes to this, and even basketball when it comes to this, because it's still heavily most of the time. Even though last year there was a coin flip for the SEC, and that's crazy. That happened last year. I don't know if you know this, Dante. On the women's basketball side, they have this very, very old rule that they haven't had to use in a while, where when two teams have the same record in the SEC, they had to do the coin flip for who gets the 1 seed. And
Yep.
both coaches were advocating against that
I
because
heard about that.
it
Yep.
significantly changes your entire tournament experience, the seed that you are. So you can't just be leaving that up to a damn, specially branded coin that you had made at whatever armory. Like, this is crazy. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is there's just a lot of room for humans to do bullshit such as this. Whereas, like, if it's based on just the records and if it's based on something that makes more sense, and it's like, listen, you have to win to be here. Like, I'm tired of having conversations about teams that aren't winning. I want teams that have won. That's it.
I mean, this is good news for Dante, but another thing that they did, as I'm scrolling through Twitter to get the things because I wasn't listening to it. So there was a conversation going in because last week Alabama was 10, I believe. There was a conversation going in that Alabama, if they lost to Georgia, I think I said this in the beginning of this podcast, they may get out. They may not make it. So they jumped Alabama over Notre Dame. And this week's ranking, after
Which
Alabama,
I would still agree with.
but Alabama almost lost to Auburn. So that the thing is, like, whether you agree or not, Alabama didn't look good last week, and they jumped them, and essentially they jumped them so that even if Alabama loses, they can still make the playoff. Because if they were ranked at 10 again, then there's an argument to say they lost in the SEC championship game, but now they can't do that because they put them up to 8, and at 8 they can say, oh, it's an SEC championship game. Because again, the Big Ten loser is going to get in, right? So
Human
they said it.
perversion
So
of the process. This is what I'm talking about. Human perversion of the process. I want as merit-based as possible. And let's sit down in the back and do our politics together and see which one of us can pull together so we can get the most payout from ESPN. Because I'm not too dense to think that those conversations are not also happening about the number of teams in versus all the things, their payouts, and how all that works. I'm not too stupid to know there is a very strong relationship between ESPN and the SEC. Period. So, with all that being said, I hate this process. It's very, very annoying. Now I have a tinfoil hat on. It pisses me off. I just want to see a college playoff where the 12 best teams in college football battle it out for a championship. That is what I want to see. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, I think the thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, because we could talk about it forever and none of us would be happy. They haven't decided on the final playoff format yet for future.
It's still evolving.
I wonder if there's any chance that this causes both the Big 12. So let's say the worst case scenario, BYU loses, so they only get Texas Tech in, and Duke wins the ACC championship game, and the ACC gets 0 teams in. I wonder if that pushes both of them in the offseason to realign with the Big Ten and try to force in the automatic qualifiers, if they're willing to accept that. Because my thing is, like, this is year 2 of the 12-team playoff. It's not going to get any better for you. It's it's 2 years and they showed you how they feel about you.
They've drawn their line in the sand. They've shown which teams are going to get preferential, which conferences are going to get preferential treatment.
To your point about SMU, right? That is bad. That was bad for the ACC as well, because I think the ACC saw that and said, SMU got in. They like us. We're better than the Big 12. We're going to be good. We're going to be in a solid spot. And the very next year, they're close to getting 0. And they didn't understand that for them it's fully variable. And the ACC hurt themselves because Miami can't get into the conference championship at 10-2. There's a 7-5 team in because of how they do their tiebreakers. And so it's just like
Georgia Tech losing their entire opportunity just because of one loss to Pitt. I think that's also kind of insane. Now, granted, we were kind of cannibalizing each other at a certain point in the ACC, like most conferences.
But that's what happens in the SEC. So what are we talking about here?
And that's what I'm about to say. Like most conferences do, but it feels like it's a heavier weight when we have head-to-head stuff than with SEC. And now you're looking at the head-to-head with Notre Dame and Miami. Girl, that don't make sense. I'm sorry. Like no, and I'm not a Miami advocate, but I will say some of the nicest fans that I ever met at the SMU Stadium were Miami fans.
But I say for at least this season, I'm an advocate.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
I'm advocating for the process. The process is some bullshit because it's only a matter of time before your team feels it, especially if you're not an SEC team fan or if you're not one of the top 4 or 3 in the Big Ten fan, your team is going to feel it. If you are a team in the bubble, you're going to feel this eventually.
Yeah, and I think
there's gonna be a time where some down the line, some team like Vanderbilt or something like that. I'm not saying it will be, but they could go 11-1, and they're gonna be like, nah, they don't deserve to get in.
Strength of schedule,
whatever.
They
get in.
Well,
that was blowing me last year. That was blowing me. I was like, Indiana should be automatically in. I don't know what we're talking about.
And then Indiana loses, right? Because Notre Dame was a good team, and they're like, see, but no one talked about the fact that Tennessee got smacked up.
Belts to ass.
Nobody wanted to talk about that one. No one wanted to talk about that one.
The team they were trying to put in over Indiana lost to Michigan, a team y'all didn't think was good.
Yeah, so it's just
the backroom politics are very annoying, and I feel like that's what's ruining the sport. Like everyone wants to talk about all the things that are ruining college football. This is ruining college football. Like for me,
it's frustrating. Okay, so talking about bad process, we're gonna skip around a little bit. Talking about bad process, Penn State has bad process. Let me break this out for the people. Let me break this out for the people who don't fully understand, right? So Penn State fires James Franklin. James Franklin, hold on. Okay, so Penn State fires James Franklin. And we all sort of talked about why he got fired. And all this sort of things.
We reacted live on air when it happened.
Yes, we did.
Check that episode out.
And so basically, right?
On YouTube. That's the best way to watch that episode.
So
that's one.
And okay, we're gonna go back. James Franklin has won. He was at Penn State 1, 2, 3.
12 years, right?
10, I think.
12 years. 12 years.
12, there we go.
He was at Penn State 12 years. He won 10 plus games 6 out of the 12 years, including 3 straight years leading into this past season.
Period.
Last year, he was one mistake away from his quarterback away from being in the national championship game, a game that struck fear in my heart, as you all remember, because I said that was going to be the time that Penn State would finally beat us. I wanted to play Notre Dame. This is not revisionist history. I was so glad that Penn State lost because I was like, they're going to beat us, and I was not like so. And so they gear up, right? They bring all their guys back. They say it's not a year bust, and he goes 3-3, and they fire him. And I understand in theory why you fire him, because you say,
I don't.
Well, so you say you think you can get a better coach, and you say he's been here 12 years. We need something new. But this only works. It only works if you get a good coach.
The best job available.
And Penn State thought that they were going to be one of the best jobs available. They fired him. This job has been open for 50-something days. They've had a head start in hiring a coach. Most coaches were hired on Sunday. It is Tuesday. There are multiple jobs that fired their coach on Sunday or Monday and already have a new coach, one of which we're going to talk about because it's the stupidest thing in the world, and they have a new coach. Meanwhile, Penn State, who fired an objectively good coach because they thought that they could do better, still doesn't have a coach. And today, leading into this podcast, Kalani Sitake, who's the head coach at BYU, who was far down their list, by the way, because again, Tuesday, they expected that he was going to get the job, that he was going to take the job. Crumble Cookie stepped in and basically decided to up his pay and things like that, and so he's going to stay there. But the thing about it, and I was
now
talking
he got
to
an NIL deal with Crumble.
The thing about it, and I was talking to my friends about it, his contract is not good enough for him to stay at BYU, which in my opinion means he never wanted the job. It means he took this job as an excuse to get a buyout, because here's the thing. BYU is a Mormon institution. You can only be a head coach at BYU if you're Mormon, right? He signed a contract extension. His contract extension is going to pay him between $9 and $9.5 million, and they agreed in NIL to pay $10 to $15 million a year. That is not more money than Penn State has. Penn State would pay you more than $10 million, and Penn State could give you more than $10 million in NIL. So it is very clear and obvious that his deal is not as good as what he would have gotten from Penn State. So in my opinion, this is him leveraging Penn State to stay at BYU because he's Mormon and he's an alum to stay where he was always going to stay. So you are 50 days into this search. All of them are saying no. Multiple coaches have gotten extensions off of you, and James Franklin is in Virginia running through your fucking streets. He has flipped
in Virginia
6. He has
welcome press conferences.
6. He has flipped 6 Penn State commits already. And the transfer portal's not open yet. So what is he going to do to the current roster when that opens? He's going to take half of Penn State with him. Penn State right now, National Signing Day is tomorrow, and they're not sure if they're going to have a single recruit. Because when you fired him, a bunch of recruits left, and then he gets a job immediately. Some recruits went to other because that's what they do, and then a bunch of recruits are following him to Virginia Tech. So not only do they not have a coach, they're 10 coaches down the list, and there's no idea who they're going to hire. They're going to be on their 10th, 11th coach. 3 coaches at least have gotten extensions. James Franklin is in a job, and he's stealing your recruits. And when the transfer portal is open, he's going to attack your roster too. And the only way firing James Franklin works is if you get a better coach. And you are very clearly not doing that now.
Yeah, that's not
Penn State. No, not at all. We were past that. That ship is sailed. I think it's so funny. The girls who watch Devil Girls Prada and boys will understand this reference. He's like the Miranda Priestley of Penn State in that if you've seen Project Runway, basically there's a moment in the movie, it's like the moment of the climax where it's not very clear if the editor-in-chief of the magazine is going to stay, but she ends up working her magic because she basically was like, I have models, I have photographers, I have editors, I have these people. If I leave the magazine, they're all coming with me. And it was like too valuable of an asset for them to let her go. So she works her way back into it if you've never seen the movie. But that's basically what James Franklin is doing. Penn State, to me, made a mistake. Number one, making him a mid-season fire. That's insane.
Yeah, they should have waited and looked.
You don't even know what your options really are in the middle of the season. To me, a mid-season fire only happens when you know exactly who's going to replace him. If you don't know exactly who's coming in to their place, a mid-season fire of a coach like that it's crazy because just because he didn't win in Penn State doesn't make him an objectively bad coach. There are some objectively bad coaches that have jobs right now. He was not one of them. So you're getting rid of a coach who low-key was more valuable than the program itself. Like, he actually is kind of bigger than the program. And y'all were like,
at least that's been proven by this fire and this new hire.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, he is bigger than the program. That's crazy that y'all thought y'all were bigger than the current program. You're in the middle of the mountains and it's fucking freezing. Yes. Do you know how much convincing it takes to get a recruit to take their ass up there when they could play in balmy Miami? Like, let's be for real.
And the thing about it too is it's just like, so I don't read all of them because it's so much like propaganda. I'm not sure if you all saw them or not, but when coaches get fired, there's always within a day or two, there's a story that talks about what happened. There's a story right now about Lane Kiffin, which we're going to talk about. There's a story about all these coaches, and it's typically all these bad things, right? When Brian Kelly got fired, there was a story about him not knowing his players' names and him not showing up. When Auburn's coach got fired, there was a story about him golfing more than he was in the building. All these negative things.
That's correct.
Right? James Franklin got fired.
There was no story.
There was no story. Everything that came out about him was good. It was people confused.
The story was,
he was a good leader. It was a great coach.
The story was that the optics looked bad that you brought everybody back after looking like a championship team last year and you went 3-3. That's the story.
That's the story.
That's it.
But that's all.
It wasn't he was cussing out his players. It wasn't he alienated the locker room.
You know, they love to villainize the black man. I'm surprised they had nothing to say.
He wasn't recruiting. There was nothing. Which showed that people still liked him, which is why recruits are following him. I imagine we haven't gotten to staff hiring, and he's not going to take the whole staff because I don't think he I believe rumors and various things. I think he believes that the defensive coordinator got him fired, Jim Knowles. So he's not going to bring him. He's not going to bring he's going to redo that. But is he going to bring the wide linebackers coach? Is he going to bring the defensive line coach? Is he going to bring the safety? Like, he's going to bring some coaches from that staff, and then he's going to bring the players who are still. So it's just like, He's just going to recreate Penn State
And
with a new
Virginia-
cycle at Virginia. And those Penn State players who were good in the Big Ten are arguably going to be better in the ACC because the ACC is not as good. There's a chance that he's going to be good immediately, and Penn State is going to win 6 games because they fired him.
And to me, I am still even reeling from firing being the reaction. Like, yes, okay, I understand that we are upset that we're 3-3. And maybe this is just me talking out my ass a little bit, but I'm like, I feel like probably after that, though, they would have stayed at 3 losses. They probably would have stayed at 3 losses.
It was possible.
And now,
it could have been
to
possible.
the playoff? No, they would not have made it to the playoff, especially obviously as you can see, there's teams that are 12-0 and 11-1 and whatever. So they wouldn't have made it to the playoff. So I'm sure but that again would have then warranted an end of season firing. If you felt like that was a problem that you didn't make it to the playoffs after the entire season, fire him at the end of the season. At least you have a shot at some of the big names.
But then
but you can't fire him.
It still would have been bad to fire him because then you would have looked at it like, well, you lost your starting quarterback. Game 4 of the season.
No, it was the starting quarterback was injured after he got fired.
No, he was injured when he got fired. And I remember because in our reaction clip, I saw at the same time that he got fired, it said that old boy was out. So it happened the same week he got fired.
Oh, yeah, that was game 6. Then. It was game 6. It was the last game.
Okay. Last game. Okay, so game 6, you lose. If they finish with still 3 losses, maybe even 4, that would be the thing. Like, we lost our quarterback, we had injuries and all the other things. We just stumbled.
It was a bad season. It's not his fault.
Even if he owns up to it too, like, we stumbled out the gate. I should have been better coaching. Blah 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 blah. Like there still wouldn't have been truly a reason to fire him. Yeah, it kind of was an overreaction.
And
I think it was because they thought that they were
could get
the type of program that could do that. Penn State is not the type of program that could do that. You're not at LSU. You're not a Bama. We can't fire you in the middle of the season and people are hopping on the plane ready to come up to Penn State.
People going to want to go to Miami. Like,
and the other thing with that too, though, is and again, these are all rumors, right? Supposedly the athletic director, this part is true. He didn't hire a search firm and he froze out the board of directors. So he's doing this search by himself. And the rumor is that he's basically trying to hold too much power. He's trying to tell some of these coaches who to hire and stuff. Like he is not just that Penn State's not the job that they thought it was, because it is still a good job, but he's turning coaches away as well in the process. And then I found this out recently. So, like we thought that Matt Rule was going to get the job, and then he signs his extension at Nebraska. Supposedly, Penn State's people, not the AD, other people at Penn State who are loyal to Joe Paterno for some reason still, they didn't want Matt Rule. So Penn State's people said no to Matt Rule. Matt Rule signs at Nebraska. The AD's doing this whole search by himself, and he's striking out on all of these names for various reasons. The job, not liking it, not liking him. He's asking for too much. He's demanding things that don't make sense, this, that, and the third. They're striking out. And now Penn State UCLA has a coach, just hired a coach that we're going to talk about, that people said should have went to Penn State, but Penn State couldn't get him. He went to UCLA. UCLA is hiring coaches away from you?
UCLA. The University of California, Los Angeles.
like,
to be
I'm
clear.
sorry. Mormon, I know I say a lot of crazy things about the Mormons because they be doing crazy shit and they hate black people and all these other kind of things. I'm sorry. Being an alum and being Mormon is not enough to keep you at BYU if the right job opens. If Oregon opened, he would leave. I believe if Washington opened, he would leave. There are jobs that Kalani Sitake would have left for. Again, his compensation, $9.5 million, that's a lot of money to us, but not when James Franklin was making more than that. They would pay you more. $10 million in NIL is not a lot when Penn State can do the full 20. Like, he didn't stay because the offer was better. He stayed because he didn't want to go to Penn State. But let it have been Oregon. Let it have been Washington. He's gone. Like I fully believe that his religion is not why he stayed. It helps. But if it was a better job with a better search and a better AD, he's gone. And instead, this late in the process, and the report that came out afterwards was that Penn State was surprised. Because they genuinely thought they were going to get this coach.
They've been whining and dining him. They thought he's going to sign on that dotted line.
They genuinely thought he was going to get this coach, and he leveraged it. And is doing a press conference today about it.
I'm sorry, that's low-key brilliant on Kitake, whatever his name is,
Kalani Sitake. Yeah.
That is brilliant on his part, honestly. And that's low-key what I thought Lane Kiffin was going to do with Ole Miss.
And then Nick Saban told him to take that job, boy.
Yeah, like I was thinking that's what was going to happen because I'm like, surely you don't want to leave your 11-1 team that has a playoff run right in front of them. Like, surely not. I hate to segue like this, but like, surely
I think
not.
that's perfect. In my opinion,
it's weird.
But no, I want the $90 million from LSU. And mind you, God willing, we're going to have this podcast in 3 years, and we're going to talk about how LSU fired Lane Kiffin.
So, okay, but hear me out.
Man, because that seems to be every 3 years they ruin somebody.
Yes.
In my opinion,
is one of the highest paid coaches. He ain't even won shit. Go ahead, sorry.
I think that James Franklin is why Lane Kiffin should have left.
Okay, do explain.
Because James Franklin wins all these games at Penn State. He gets them a step away from the national championship. Penn State hasn't won a national championship since the 80s. But now, because James Franklin raised the level, now they have to win a national championship. Yeah. Now he's not meeting the standard that he introduced them to, and they fired him. I think Lane Kiffin maxed out Ole Miss. Ole Miss is not winning a national championship. So in 2 years, they go 11-1 this year. They're happy, super happy. But what if they lose in the first round? And then next year, they don't make the playoffs. Or they do and they lose in the first round. And then the year after that, they don't make the playoffs. Now, Lane's not good enough. Now, but it's 2 years ago, he was the best coach you've ever had. Now, you got comfortable. And so he handled it poorly. Don't get me wrong on that. But I think James Franklin is why you should leave because, one, LSU is a better job. I could win a national championship at LSU. You fall ass backwards into a national championship at LSU.
White men failing upwards. That's what's going on.
Outside of Nick Saban, who we know who he is, Lane Kiffin is better than the other two coaches that won national championships at LSU. He is. They just win because it's fucking LSU. He's better than Ed O. And he's better than I can't think of the other guy right now, but he's better than him too.
That's sad.
And so, they just win. They just win at LSU. So for me, it's just like, yeah, he handled it awful. He should have done it better. He should have been honest. He shouldn't have drawn it out. Everyone knew he was taking the job. This is not pro Lane anything, but I think James Franklin is why he should have taken the job because one, it is a better job. It has better access to talent. And if I was him, I would say worse coaches than me have won here, so I should be able to win here. Doesn't mean he will, but that's how I would think about it. And it restarts the clock at a place that doesn't say, in 2 years, thank you for being the best coach we've ever had, but we're no longer happy with you. That's how I feel about it. I just think he fucked it up in every other aspect. But I'm sorry, I would have taken the LSU job too. Because 11-1 is cute, but he can win a national championship at LSU. He's not winning one at Ole Miss. He's just not.
Gonna sit here and act like the LSU job is not attractive. Like we will all have to be very for real about Lane Kiffin's decision. Like Ole Miss or LSU. Like, yeah, of course. And then LSU is offering an exorbitant amount of money. Like at a certain point, you do have to look at it and be like, do I want to have this quote unquote like non-tangible loyalty to this fan base, or do I want to continue to have status, money, all those things? Lane Kiffin is not wrong for making that decision. However, and these are rumors, however, the things that I have heard that were rumored about the situation is crazy to me. Like, what do you mean? Oh, hey, I'm leaving, but let me just stay here and coach a couple more games real quick if that's okay with you.
That's not a rumor. He did that. He asked that.
Like, okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, but there's more stuff, but I was going to get into. But that's like,
well, I know there's probably some. I was just telling you that one's not a rumor. He did
that. That's like my wife coming into my house saying, "Babe, I cheated on you, and I'm going to leave you to be with her. But also, we need to live the lease out real quick. So let me stay for another month."
But can we get through Christmas?
No, like what?
Can we get through Christmas? Can you buy me a Christmas present? You said go backwards. Say go backwards. Take it back.
Where are we rewinding to? Well, yes. That's like my wife coming into the house and saying, "Hey, babe, I cheated on you and I am leaving, but the lease isn't up yet. So I'm going to stay here real quick because, I don't want to have no legal Like, that's what it's giving. Like, that you're coming in here and you're telling me you want a divorce, but you're not ready to leave yet. Like, that's crazy. And then to tell the coaches, which I think this is more of a rumor, but I've heard it in multiple places, to tell the assistant coaches, like, if you're not on this plane with me to LSU, you ain't got no job. Is also crazy.
I don't know that that's a rumor either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's also crazy.
That one's less founded than the other, but I don't think that was a rumor either.
That's what I was like.
And to that end,
so
though,
you think that probably is a thing that was definitely said?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like if that's part of it.
Because the first thing that I heard is that because Ole Miss promoted their defensive coordinator, so the first thing that I heard is that none of the staff was going with Lane.
And
Like
that's what I heard.
heard.
And then I heard
And
that there was some
then-
staff that actually did leave, and they did go with him.
And I think Lane was like, "Get your ass on that plane."
Get on. You better get on this flight.
So don't he said,
Like-
but so the funny thing about it, right? Because he did take almost all the offensive staff. He
Crazy.
he lets go.
He said, "Fuck y'all defense niggas. We don't need y'all." But I'm gonna say,
Hold on. Oh my god. I want to see if I can find this. Fuck. So hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Did he put it on his personal Twitter?
well, while he's looking for it, I want to talk
Adam
about that
said
burn
it's
braid
working.
heifer that asked him after the game. Oh, by the way, where are you going? Are you staying here? Or are you leaving? I would just like to say, your name is not Holly Rowe, so you're more than likely not about to get the exclusive standing there on the field. Let's start there. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get into my journalist back for just a second.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Also,
let me finish because I know
I mean,
where you're
that was
going.
it. That was it. Just stop
so-
asking stupid questions on the field. That's it.
Lane
That's never gonna
Lane
happen.
Kiffin rumored to have told his coaches to get their ass on the plane.
That's what I said. Right.
And then today, after those coaches got their ass on the plane, because he took most of the offensive staff, Ole Miss doesn't have an offensive staff for the playoff. So
Fabulous.
Lane releases this statement. Here, hold on. Lane releases this statement. With the playoff committee releasing updated rankings tonight, I want it to be known that after conversations with LSU, we are allowing Charlie, the offensive coordinator, we are allowing Charlie to return to Ole Miss to coach the team during the playoffs. I've already made the committee aware of this, and I'm hopeful this decision will allow Ole Miss to receive the highest ranking possible because these great players are very deserving of that. I'm excited that Charlie will go back to help coach
I
the
would
greatest
hate
team in the
Lane
history of Ole
Kiffin
Miss.
as a player for the
And
rest
so,
of my
and the
life.
crazy-
Him as a player, as a fan, as anybody associated.
But
This
the
is
thing
crazy.
is,
The
but the
rest
thing
of
is,
my
they
life.
told Lane he couldn't coach, which is fair. But then they had to call him up and be like, "Hey, can we borrow a coach?
Can we
Because you
have
took
our
the whole
OC back,
staff."
please? No, 'cause
so
here's
the
the- okay.
offensive coordinator is going to coach Ole Miss, and then when he's done, he's going to go to
Gonna go to LSU.
LSU.
Let me ask a question, because I was seeing people talk about this, and I wasn't really into the
That's
college football at the time.
crazy.
A lot of people were saying that this should be, and again, people are crazy on the internet, but I was saying a lot of people were saying like this should be equivalent to Florida State missing playoffs because their quarterback was injured.
No.
Like Ole Miss should miss it because they don't have a coach. And I was like, I don't see how that goes together.
Also, here's the biggest problem with that, because there's a lot of things that they're bringing up Florida State with. As unfortunate as that was, it was a 14 playoff.
Yeah.
Florida State would have made the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
apples. Like, I'm not saying they should have lost, but like Florida State ended up being like 5 or 6. So
But you
like
don't think that
can't compare.
not
No,
having a
because you
coach-
can't drop them 8 spots. They dropped Florida State 1 spot. And the other thing with the Florida State thing is the team they dropped them for was actually comparable. Like there was a decision there, and it just sucks that the quarterback happened because we all think they would have got in, but like Alabama was like right there. Like it was like a comparable team. This is just not a similar situation. One, there's 8 more playoff spots. So it's just like, what are we talking about? And also,
I just didn't get the comparison because I didn't know the lore of the
No.
quarterback thing and all of that. So I was like, I'm confused, because I'm like, damn, can a team really get left out because they don't have a coach? I mean,
well, so
it-
basically,
was-
yeah.
The story at that time was that it was kind of brought up in the media that no one would watch. It wouldn't be competitive because I forgot who it was, Georgia
the
or
hell
whoever they were
cares?
going against. I couldn't remember, but who, like the quarterback was like most of their offense
Yeah.
for
Oh.
Florida State.
But
So
the-
going up against, I think it was Georgia or someone
Yeah.
in that first round,
Mhm.
they were saying that it
And
wasn't going to be a competitive game. Like
Yeah.
they knew it wasn't going to be.
And
Well,
the
and they
first
had
round of the
lost
playoffs
the
last
best-
year was competitive.
but
But
that's
that's different.
But it's
That's
a
still
14
different.
playoff.
Right.
It's 14
That was-
playoff.
It
But the
Yeah.
other thing with it is he got injured, and then they played a game, and they got
Mhm.
blew out.
Yeah.
So basically, they were saying we just watched them play without this guy, and they lost by 28 or 30.
And now they're supposed to play one
And
of
now
these
they're supposed to play a
legit
better
playoff
team.
teams.
So like that's
Mm.
and again the team was still undefeated. So like, but it was 12-0 versus 11-1. And they were basically like, you went to the ACC championship game, got sat the fuck down because your quarterback's not there, lost by 20, 30 points. We know
Everybody
this
was
isn't
like,
going to be good.
yeah,
So
it's
we're
not
going to
gonna look
put the
good.
team that's right next to you in. But again, that was a 14
That made
playoff.
sense.
If it was a 16 playoff, if it was an 18 playoff, if it was an 18, they would have been in every playoff but a 14, which is why it's a disingenuous comparison.
And at that time, it made sense, record wise and money wise, as an advertisement and having eyes on the
because that
game.
does all matter.
Because at least
we're
we
not
knew
naive.
that
Which is
game was
why I
going to be
said
competitive.
the backroom politics is very annoying. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
hear
but
it.
that's like one of the few times where it's like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean, especially
the
because
thing
we
about it,
saw them
if
get
you had,
blown out without
yeah,
him.
like if
we
you would
did.
if you would have been watching at that time, we saw them get blown out, and they still put them in. Nobody was gonna watch that game.
Yeah,
No.
I
we
feel that.
knew what was gonna happen.
Well, that's why I was confused because I'm like, wait, is that like a prerequisite? Like, do you have to have certain people? Like, I just
Nah.
didn't know why everybody was okay.
Nah.
So we're just making up stupid arguments. Heard. Good. Anyway, I feel very, very bad. The people who I feel the most for, obviously, are the players who have no choice in this matter at all. They're trying to, for lack of a better term, celebrate and live in this moment of history for Ole Miss as, you know, being one of the winningest programs. And now you're supposed to go into the playoff
that for those kids. He
without your head coach.
Yeah.
And without any stability. Like, I know I really feel bad for the kids that like have to come back, right? Like, this is the team that they committed to and they planned on playing for a couple of years. You know, they didn't plan on going to the transfer portal. They didn't plan on, they want to stay at Ole Miss. It's like, well, what's going to happen now? You know, because is Ole Miss job attractive? I don't know. I can't really say comparatively to other jobs that are open. But
Probably more attractive than Penn State.
Penn State for sure. But I'm just like, you know, but I'm just saying their coach search might be a little lengthy. Like, we just don't know. So that's why I'm just like, I feel so bad for the players because you obviously would have more confidence coming into the playoffs if you had your head coach. And Lane Kiffin speaking of religion in coaching, him being all disingenuous, speaking of the bird brain, having to ask him the stupid ass question, talk about oh, you know, I just got to go home and pray on it. You knew what the fuck your decision was right then. I understand him not saying it, but don't talk about you need to pray on it. You need to go talk to your wife, your family. As soon as you saw 90 million, you had made your decision. And that's okay. Like, we don't need to bring God into it and be all weird and say, oh, I got to pray on it.
Yeah, and that's where he messed it up. And my thing is like, we're all like making him out to be a bad person because he is, but I don't think he's wrong for wanting to still coach. I think he's wrong for acting like he doesn't understand why. Because here's the thing, right? We're going to go through some of these coaches, right? Kentucky hires Will Stein. Will Stein is the offensive coordinator for Oregon. Cal is expected to hire Tosh LaPoy. He's the defensive coordinator for Oregon. Both of them.
Look how quickly Cal make a decision.
Both of them are still going to coach their teams in the playoff, right? Oklahoma State hires Eric Morris from North Texas. If they beat Tulane, he's going to coach in the playoffs. Where's that? Tulane's coach.
He's coaching Florida, in that game against Tulane. Like,
yes, Florida hired John Summerall from Tulane. He's coaching in the championship game, and if they win, he's going to coach into the playoff. So it happens, but the problem is Florida and Tulane aren't in the same conference, right? Oklahoma State and North Texas are in the same conference. They're not rivals. They're like you can't go from an SEC job to an SEC job and expect you can do that when
it's like
you're
sleeping with best friends and expecting them to still be friends.
Like you can do that when you're a coordinator taking a head coaching job. You can do that when you're a G5 coach going up to a team that you're not going to play.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this because I just didn't know. Oh, LSU is Ole Miss's like second most hated rival. Like it's their it's their like Oklahoma. Or who's worse, Texas A&M or Oklahoma? For Texas.
For Texas, oh Jesus,
I think it might be Oklahoma.
I'm not the best person to ask because I'm not a Texas person.
We're just gonna call it Oklahoma.
OU. I would argue it's OU, yeah. But I feel like the hatred is more bitter between Texas and Texas A&M. But that's not.
So that's fine. So LSU is Ole Miss's Oklahoma. Like they have their in-state rival, they have their Mississippi State, but they also hate LSU. So not only did you leave for another SEC job, you left for their rival. No, you can't coach for 3 more weeks, and you can't be walking up and down the hallways to the players like, "Hey, you want to go to LSU with me?"
Fives.
You like, hold on,
yes,
hold on.
yes.
I'll be in practice in a minute.
Yes.
I'll be in practice in a minute after I get off the phone trying to steal recruits. After I call my recruits that said they're coming to play with me at Ole Miss and be like, "Hey, do you still want to jump?" Again, half of Penn State's recruits went with James Franklin to Virginia Tech, but the difference is James Franklin's not there. You would be calling all them recruits and be like, "Hey, I know you said Ole Miss, but LSU, we got the go Tigers." You want you can't do that when you're in the uniform. Like Tulane's John Summerall's not doing that to Tulane when he goes to Florida. So it's just like
I think Ole Miss has every right to be like, "No, fuck you, don't stay."
But him acting like he doesn't understand that is crazy. Like you can't play the victim is what I'm getting at. Like you just can't play the victim.
Because that's what white people do. That they live in victimhood, okay? White women, most definitely. But when it comes to a white person in general, it's always something happening to them. It's never the decisions that they fucking made.
You know you screwed over those kids.
You knew that you fucked them kids over. But here's the thing.
Especially since they got a chance to legit do something and you left. Like, that's messed up.
And here's the thing. He had to make the announcement because if he didn't, it would have got leaked, right? He had to make the announcement. He had to say that the ink on the contract is dry and this is what's going on. But it does add to it that I didn't realize how bitter their rivalry was either. Now, was this also true, or was this just a meme going around online that they put his clothes outside?
Oh, it didn't look like AI to me. I think they did that.
I think it's just somebody else's clothing. I don't.
It might be someone else's clothes.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Lane Kiffin's clothes.
I am obsessed with that.
Was that literally outside of somewhere of Ole Miss?
It was outside the football stadium. Outside.
Was
the
it for
facility.
real? Oh,
yeah, because they wouldn't. So that's the other thing. They wouldn't let him go to the meeting. Like when he took the job, they always have a meeting.
They turned his ID card off. They said you cannot get in.
Yeah, they said he couldn't go to the meeting with the players and everything. So he basically just left the building. He didn't pack a box. But when you're making $13 million a year, you just rebuy all them shirts. But yeah, they didn't let him back in the building.
Shirts anyway.
They probably are all.
Yeah, they all have the logo on it. So yeah.
They that to me is iconic social media response. 10 out of 10. I have no notes for whoever the admin is on their social media. That was really smart.
Well, did Ole Miss post it? I thought someone else took the picture.
I don't know where it came from.
Either way, it was real. It was real.
Yes, it was brilliant. I loved it. It's unfortunate for, like I said, Ole Miss. I think the real victims in the situation is everybody involved with.
It's the players, yeah,
Ole Miss and the players and the fans. I think they're the biggest victims in this. Lane Kiffin is going to go on. He's going to be fine. He's going to get fired. He's going to get his buyout just like Brian Kelly. Like, it'll be all right.
And
because LSU doesn't know how to learn a lesson.
He's probably going to win a national championship.
He might. That's the other thing. And then he'll get his buyout.
He will. Absolutely. Just like Ed Ogeron. Yes. Because that's the other thing. On the day he got announced, the number 1 or number 2 player in the country was there taking pictures with him and saying that he was happy that he was coming. And you want to know why he was there? Because he's from Louisiana. And like the state of Ohio, all the players in Louisiana want to go to LSU.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's why we knew he was going. They fired a coach, and the number 1 or number 2 player in the country never wavered. He's like, I'm going to LSU no matter what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you hire. I'm going no matter.
And
that is why LSU falls backwards into winning a national championship, because they are a talent-rich state, and all the good players want to go. All you have to do is smooth with the high school coach just a little bit and take your shoes off in their mama's house, and you're going to get a home-cooked meal and a fucking 5-star recruit. That's all you got to do.
Okay, so now moving on to the other coaches.
Yes.
I mean, you literally only got to take your shoes. Just take your shoes off.
Just take
That's
your
still
shoes
the
off.
weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Remember
How
his
is that
name?
weird? You do need to take your shoes
No,
off.
no,
You got all this
Jim
crap.
Harbaugh didn't do that
Jim Harbaugh
at a
didn't
recruit's
take his
house.
shoes off.
Yes, and
There was multiple recruits' houses,
and he was wearing
wouldn't take his
football
shoes
cleats.
off. Like, yeah.
Why is he walking around in football
Because
cleats?
he's weird.
He's a nutcase.
Yeah.
He's
God.
a nutcase.
He's part of the cheating,
Good
right?
coach, really good
Isn't he a
coach.
part of the cheating?
Huh? Yes, he was the head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead and move on.
He's
to
a
the
really
other
good coach. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want
but
to hear it. He's a cheater.
he's a good
nutcase.
All right. So other
Only
coaches.
cheaters walking around with cleats on. That's some dumbass shit.
Yeah.
That might be the dumbest shit I've heard all day.
So update. We won't talk on these long because none of us are coaching gurus. So I know most of them. But it's just...
speak for yourself. I minored in coaching when I was in college.
Who is Jim Mora?
I don't fucking know. I'm not a
then,
college football expert.
That's what I said. Coaching guru. I didn't say you don't know nothing about coaching. You don't know these coaches.
All coaching.
Is that not what we're talking about?
Just saying. You said coaching as like a general concept.
Jesus Christ. Colorado State hires Jim Mora from UConn. Oklahoma State hires Eric Morris from North Texas. North Texas is having the best season of their career. Arkansas.
Oh, sorry. Y'all keep going. I'm going to tell y'all when you're done.
Arkansas hires Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. Oregon State hires Jamarcus Shepard, who was Bama's co-offensive coordinator, to be their head coach. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt re-signed his.
Dante might have gotten the same thing I just got.
Signed an extension.
What? I think you might have gotten the same thing I just got. I'm sorry. We just for a second. Five-star QB. Flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt, the highest ranked signee in Vandy.
Which is perfect because we just said it. Clark Lee, the head coach at Vandy, signed an extension to stay at Vanderbilt, and then they flipped the number one player in the country. The number one player in the country, Georgia. 5-star quarterback from Georgia to Vanderbilt.
And he gets to play behind Derek Pavia, which, as you guys know. Well,
Diego Pavia is done. This was his last season.
Is he done? This was last season?
Yeah. So he's
last season was next season.
No, he's gonna be the starter next year.
Whatever. I love Vanderbilt. I'm drinking the Vanderbilt Kool-Aid. I'm living for them. So I am obsessed with this.
Yes. And then Eli Drinkowitz at Missouri also signs an extension. Stanford hires Tavita Pritchard, who was an OC or quarterback coach in the NFL. The funny thing about Tavita Pritchard is Tavita Pritchard lost his job at Stanford as a quarterback to Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck then, years later, becomes Stanford's GM and hires his backup quarterback to be the head coach.
He knows who he is. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Here's the thing. This is why you never burn a bridge. You never burn a bridge. You never know.
And people are like making fun of this, but like Andrew Luck, not that he's imperfect and he can't make a mistake. Andrew Luck is pretty smart. I feel like I guess he knows this guy, and I think it's important too because like Stanford's not an easy job. I think if Andrew Luck was willing to hire him, he believes that this guy is like a good coach.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was working he was working for I think the Commanders. I think he was their quarterback coach or something like that with Jaden Daniels. So, and he played quarterback in college.
Oh.
So.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, he's Stanford's new head coach. Kentucky hires Will Stein, Oregon's offensive coordinator, which is hilarious to the Penn State point because Kentucky fired their coach on Monday and already has a new coach.
They already have a coach.
UCLA hires Bob Chesney, who was at James Madison.
What a name, Bob Chesney.
Dante. I don't know if you saw this one, but this one we do have to talk about. Michigan State fires their coach on Sunday. And then hires Pat Fitzgerald, who was previously at Northwestern, who got fired wrongly, and it's only wrongly because they handled it wrong.
Wait, hold on. Michigan State didn't learn shit. Michigan State didn't learn a damn thing.
For overseeing hazing that included sexual assault in his locker room, and if that's not bad enough, he fucking sucked. He had 3 wins in like 3 seasons.
Pause. Everybody stop. Because y'all know I don't know the lore. Everybody stop breathing right now. And I'm going to do a Dante. And I'm going to do one of these. Because surely I did not hear the term sexual and oversee and hazing.
Yes.
And they were all in the same sentence in reference to a coach who just got another job. Because surely that would mean that we have learned nothing. That would mean that society does not properly punish individuals who participate in things that don't make sense.
Not even just that. Michigan State a couple years ago fired their coach because he was pretty much sexually assaulting a sexual assault victim coming in to talk to his team about sexual assault.
Yes. Well, to be clear, sorry, he was sexually harassing her, not assaulting.
Harassing.
But still a problem. I just don't want to get sued for saying the wrong thing.
Right.
So I don't like Michigan and I don't like Michigan State? That's crazy.
Yes. The whole state. Hey, we don't give a damn about the whole state of Michigan. Welcome to Ohio State fandom.
Michigan.
Welcome to Ohio State fandom.
Like, Dante was like, Michigan's always on the right side of history. What Michigan? Who's Michigan?
I'm not talking about college sports, and I'm not talking about college football. I am talking about
American history.
Yeah, like other things.
He said in the government.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I can't believe I can't find this. I'm looking for it. So for those of
Pat
you who don't know,
Fitzgerald.
right?
Wow.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
one winning
Northwestern as a
season.
whole had a major hazing thing. Like multiple coaches, like basketball, football, cheerleading, like a bunch of
Decades.
stuff came out.
Over
Decades, right?
decades.
People
Since like the
from
80s.
the 90s came out to talk about the hazing that was happening in that football program. He was a player in that football program. People that were his teammates came out and talked about hazing that happened in the program when they were there. So he's saying he doesn't know what's going on, and the hazing is just sexual assault. There's literally this
That's
thing
all
that
it
they
is.
would do.
And all it
They
is.
called it the car wash, where they would get naked, soap up their bodies, spin in circles, and make players walk through it.
And that's just one of the things.
Just one
We talked about
of the
we
many
talked about a
things.
lot. It was, but that was one of the many things that is, and that was going on at Northwestern since like late 80s, early 90s.
If that, and then the people in the 80s and 90s was like, yeah, we did things, but it wasn't as bad as that. So it was progressively getting worse in his tenure. They were like, yeah. And one of them literally in the story was like, we did something similar, so I can see where that came from. Basically, like saying, like, I can see how it built from
How
what
it
we did
progressed
to
to
that.
that.
Like they've just been keeping tradition and just changing tradition, updating tradition. But if that's not enough to not hire him, which it is enough to not hire him, I'm trying to find his record. I'm just gonna have to Google it. He was also actively a bad coach at
I
the
think
time
he had
that
one
he
or
got
two
fired.
good seasons, winning
Like
seasons.
he was, yeah. Like hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. I have it right now. The year he got fired, he was 1-11. The year before that, he was 3-9. The year before that, he was 7-2, but that was during the pandemic. The year before the pandemic, he was 3-9. So in 3 of his 4 seasons before he got
what
fired,
are these niggas hazing for? Because it can't be for good football. I'm confused.
And 3 of his 4
And
seasons,
I think he had an 11-win
3 or
season,
less
one
wins.
of those. Yeah, and I think an 11-win season like 2
No,
years.
the most was
before.
10, and that was
Oh,
2017.
it was 10. Okay.
So niggas is hazing and they not even good. That's crazy.
If when you heard about Northwestern being good?
Not never. That's why I'm
Never
so
in your
confused.
lifetime.
Well, they ain't got shit else to do, I guess, because this is crazy.
His
And
final
it's not
4
just
You
the
spend all
football
this time.
program.
Y'all should be practicing. What y'all doing? Spinning around in circles with suds.
His final 4 years, he was 14-31.
Bro, get out of my
So
face.
the hazing should be bad enough, but then even if
he's
that
not
didn't
even good.
exist, he was 14-31, and you fired your coach to hire him.
It smells like bitch in here. Like I can't.
LSU hires Lane Kiffin. We already talked about that. Ole Miss promotes Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, to take over from Lane Kiffin. Florida hires John Summerall from Tulane. Auburn hires Alex Golish from USF. The funny thing about that is, like, a week ago, I literally had it on the show plan. News broke that Arkansas hired Alex Golish.
That's why I saw this name.
He came out and was like, "Nah, fam, I didn't sign it yet." And then Auburn called him, and he went to Auburn instead. So
he was like, "Relax, not wrong A,
because Auburn's the better job." Yeah.
Virginia Tech hired Gene Finkley. We already talked about that. Kent State Go Flashes hired Mark Carney, which they had to after he won 5 games. And then North Texas, who lost their coach, by the way, to another job, already hired a coach before Penn State has a coach. They hired Neil Brown. And then BYU extends Kalani Sitake. And then the last one, which hasn't happened yet, but is most likely going to happen, is that Cal is rumored to hire Tosh Lupoi from Oregon. Everybody has a coach but Penn State, which is the title of this show, by the way. Everyone has a coach but Penn State.
Penn State.
Coaches who got fired on Sunday and Monday have jobs. Coaches who left for new jobs have been
fired
replaced
over Thanksgiving weekend and got a job.
They got
over
fired while eating their
weekend.
turkey. They got jobs and they're already shopping.
And then on Zillow, they got a new job.
They're on Zillow now, shopping for houses. Like they have new jobs.
Penn State don't have a coach. So, whew.
This just goes to, hopefully Penn State has had a very humbling experience in realizing that people don't actually fucking want to go to state college.
It's not humbling yet. It's going to be humbling when they're 6-6 next year.
What do you mean 5-7? They're not going to be bowl eligible.
Hey, fuck it.
I think they'll be bowl eligible.
It depends on the schedule.
I have a feeling
it depends on the schedule.
It'll be because of that. Because I'm like, I have a feeling that anybody worth their salt at Penn State at this point is following James Franklin.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically
we even said that.
anybody
When
he
James
wants.
Franklin got fired,
Yeah,
the first thing we all said was, "Oh, I'm transferring immediately." Now, none of us said I'm transferring to follow
because it's
him.
not like he went to
But
scrubs. Virginia
we
Tech
did
is
say that.
cool.
Yeah.
Blacksburg
we
is
said
fire.
we said we were transferring.
If you'll go to State College, you'll go to Blacksburg. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like, it's not like
fair.
you're choosing between Virginia and Columbus or like Virginia and California. If you'll go to Penn State, you just trading mountains for mountains. You trade mountains for mountains, and it's warmer mountains.
At least get my
Hello.
name. I at least get some cool jerseys. I get my
Right.
name on the back of
And
my
I
yeah.
get
jersey.
the ocean, perchance.
And
like,
Enter Sandman is fire. That's one of the best entrances in college football. Like, yeah.
like
If you'll play
you're-
at Penn State, you'll play at
listen.
Virginia
The
Tech.
reason why University of Connecticut is so good at women's basketball is because Gino is somehow convincing those women to stay in Storrs, Connecticut. Because Storrs, Connecticut is not interesting.
Nah.
But Gino and the opportunity to play with him is what makes it worth it, right? State College. James Franklin was making it worth it for these guys.
Yep.
And the fact that y'all were not realizing that is crazy because I feel like
Especially
that
if
was
you
the
were a
first thing I
defensive
thought.
lineman and a cornerback.
Safety?
I know I'm going to the league.
Yeah.
If I go to
Like,
Penn State, that's the only reason why I was
immediately.
coming here. Like,
Immediately.
now I just gotta go to Virginia. Okay,
Penn
like
That's fine too.
Penn State with safeties was like Ohio State with wide receivers. They're all
Yeah,
over the
like-
league. They're everywhere.
They're all
They're
over
all
the
over the
place.
Yeah.
Linebackers too.
It's-
Like
I'm listen. Hey, Coach Franklin, what's the real estate in Virginia like? You got hey, coach, you got a spot for me down there? What's the you need a linebacker?
Franklin,
you need a corner?
Right.
2 years, Jay Franklin could easily take over the ACC. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I-
Virginia.
What is,
I agree. I agree.
you said, Coach, you said it's warm there? you said they got barbecue? You said they don't got shit.
You can see the ocean.
They don't got shit.
You
Let's
can
some
see
people-
the ocean.
Yeah.
Defensive linemen, they got barbecue.
Hold on. They
Bro,
don't
they
got shit.
also
They don't
have-
got shit in Penn State, but fast food and ice cream, they do have really good ice cream.
Ice
Fast
cream
food,
was really
you
good.
said,
That's
you,
I
said
heard.
you said they got barbecue down there? They got
Oh,
barbecue.
they also have
That's-
hot take.
that's
They also
wild.
have fantastic sushi over there down in Charlottesville. So I
Do
would
they?
highly. I had some great sushi when I was in
Hold
Charlottesville.
on.
I
I'm
also
saying
had-
this wrong. Is Virginia Tech in Charlottesville or are they in Blacksburg?
No, they're in Charlottesville.
Oh, I kept saying Blacksburg. That's where Virginia
No,
is.
they're
at.
in Charlottesville.
Charlottesville,
I think
yeah.
Virginia is in.
It's in
Blacksburg.
Blacksburg, yeah.
Yeah,
Charlottesville, yeah.
They're in Charlottesville. So it's
they
a
got
coastal town, basically. It's right there. Girl, that
the
food is
beach,
good.
to the sushi,
You get the beach.
the barbecue,
You get
warmer
barbecue.
weather.
You get beautiful scenery.
We get to
Beautiful
play in
scenery.
Miami. We get to play Miami.
Yeah, I don't get to see
Florida
Ohio
State.
State.
You get to
I'm
go
not
down to
getting
Texas.
smacked up by a 6'5", 380-pound first-round pick who's a fucking 18. I don't gotta see Jared. If I'm a corner,
Was
if I'm
that
a corner,
Jeremiah Smith
I
that you just
I
described?
don't have to
Yes,
see Jeremiah Smith
yes,
next
you
year. Coach, you got a scholarship for me. Same NIL deal. You don't even gotta give me nothing better. Just give me the same. I'll be there.
Anyways, if
I'm
y'all
the-
can tell, our 2-minute drill was also Penn State. So, moving on to the screenplay, because there is more college football that is happening this weekend, even though I think arguably the most exciting weekend of college football has passed. But we still have one more week.
It was better.
It was better. Rivalry week was infinitely better last year than it was this year. I think Michigan was
There wasn't
very
enough
hilarious.
hate. There
There
wasn't
was-
enough hate.
Oh, can we talk about that for just a second? I was personally, and maybe this is just me, I was very annoyed by the good old-fashioned hate thing that they were doing with Georgia and Georgia Tech. Like, I think that's what it's called or whatever,
Yeah.
but it just felt so forced to me. Like, I was like, why are we celebrating hate? Not to be, like, existential, but I was like, it didn't feel cute. It felt weird. I don't know if it was just me, but I was like, maybe it's just because I don't know the history enough.
I
but-
don't think it was probably just didn't feel authentic of like last year how every team hated each other. going
Yeah, it was
into
like
that
real
game.
hate. Yeah, so they were like
they-
good
they
old fashioned
just-
hate, and they're just playing regular football to me.
Yeah, like it was.
You talking about
it was
Georgia
hate.
Tech?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
it's a cute
last
name,
year, I think
but,
there was like
it
what
just
4
doesn't-
flag plants.
there was
yeah,
more
yeah,
than
there
four,
was
yeah.
fighting. Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
fighting,
fighting,
flag plants.
What was the
field
game,
storming.
DJ? What was the game
Mm.
that I texted you that they were fighting in the middle of the game, like a real fight? Like
I
it
wanna
was
say
the
with
Egg Bowl.
Arizona.
It was Ole Miss. It was Ole Miss, Mississippi State. They were
Yeah.
fighting
It
in
was the
the
Iron
second quarter.
Yep.
It was not the Iron
And
Bowl.
they didn't,
What's
they
it called?
didn't
The Egg
get to
Bowl.
the fourth quarter. They was fighting in the second quarter. They
I'm
cleared
not
the
gonna lie.
benches.
There was more fighting between the Bills and the Patriots last night in the Monday Night Football game than there was in the entirety of rivalry.
There's no
'Cause
way
they
the
sure did-
Patriots played the Bills.
Them refs sure did let them white boys fight for real. I said, now, if niggas was out here doing this, it would be every flag in the world and people would be suspended and tossed out of the game. They didn't start throwing flags for the fights until there were like 4 fights. I'm not kidding. There was a point where every snap they got up and they started fighting. And I was like, wow, y'all really let the white boys
You know
fight.
what
That's
it was?
crazy.
You know what it was? ESPN was like, we ain't got no ratings. We kind of have to let
It's not
them
ESPN.
go.
Monday night is not. Oh, is it?
Yes. Monday night is ESPN.
Oh, yeah, Monday night is ESPN because I was like, they don't have it every night. Anyways, the point is, there was a lot of fighting in that game, and I'm like, you're the Bills and the Patriots. This is ass on ass.
Couldn't have been the Bills.
What? No, not the Bills. Giants. The Giants. This is ass on that. Red, white, and blue, child. Red, white, and blue, New York. Ugh, whatever.
There's way too many teams with them colors.
So many teams in New York.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
What?
I see it on Twitter, but Twitter helps inform the show.
It does.
There are 2 things that are happening right now. One, BYU coach Kalani Sitake quoted saying, really tough, but not really that tough either, on why he stayed with BYU. And then Lane Kiffin post a long ass fucking note about how the team wanted him, the team as in the players, wanted him to coach, and 2 separate players are on Twitter saying, nah. One of the players puts in quotes, despite the team asking me to keep coaching, and he says, I think everyone in that room would disagree.
Damn.
And then another player follows it up by saying, that was not the message you said in the meeting room. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this. So Kalani Sitake is dropping quotes that was like, yeah, I didn't really want to go. I didn't really want to go to Penn State. I'm happy. And Ole Miss players are basically like, yeah, coach, see ya, nigga.
You're a liar.
Like you said, you telling, because Lane Kiffin's whole thing, we didn't talk about it because we talked about it enough. His whole thing was basically like, Ole Miss won't let me coach. The players wanted me to coach, and all the national media thinks I should be able to coach. National media is like,
who the hell cares? They don't get a vote. The national media does not get a damn vote.
The national media is like, I didn't say that. Literally, the only ones that are saying
like,
that is
Ashley,
ESPN.
we hate you too.
It's literally just ESPN who's saying that, because like Nick Saban did say that, but like the rest of the national media who don't work for ESPN is like, nah, we think this is dumb.
We disagree,
and then the players are coming out on Twitter, quote tweeting him at him like, nah, fam, that's not what we said. And then Kalani Sitake is in his press conference like, well, it wasn't really that hard not to turn down Penn State.
Did you want the Penn State job? Because I didn't want it.
Oh God, we have to stop this recording before I see something else. All right, screenplay. Right. We have games of consequence that matter. We have conference championship games. We've already went through the fact that everyone does care about conference championships, despite the fact that ESPN tried to tell us that we don't. On Friday,
and unfortunately,
it's only because they got only one of these games.
Yes,
for real.
On Friday, we have North Texas versus Tulane. The winner of that is going to go to the playoff. Straight up, straight down. We then have Troy James Madison. This game is important because if
Troy's 11-1, aren't they?
Nope, James Madison is. This game matters because James Madison was ranked this week. Another reason the playoffs matter, they were 25. And basically,
Troy
this is setting
good though, right?
James Madison, I'm not sure. This is setting James Madison up that essentially, if Duke wins the ACC, James Madison, if they win, is most likely going to be the 5th conference champ. So that's why that one mattered. They all matter, but like for playoff, that's why that mattered. If James Madison wins and they end up 12-1, and Duke beats Virginia, James Madison's probably going to be the 2nd G5 team in the playoff.
They're 8-4. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Cute.
So James Madison got to win that one. And then on Saturday, noon, we have BYU Texas Tech. If Texas Tech wins, it's a wash. BYU is out of the playoffs, although we agree that they should be in, but they're out. Now, if BYU wins, Texas Tech is not going to be out. So one of these darlings is going to get pushed out. And it's probably going to be Notre Dame when it really should be like Oklahoma, but someone's not going to make the playoffs because...
Now I'm thinking on a weird space, like the overall brand. As Texas Tech, do you lose this game because you know you get in? And then you bring in another person from your conference because you believe that as a conference, we're good enough to have 2 schools in the playoffs.
So I don't think Texas Tech does that because the games matter to the players.
Right, of course.
They want to win.
Of course.
But the Big 12 office is hoping and praying. They pulling out all their dances and witchcraft and anything that they believe. Prayers to Jesus, Elohim, whoever they worship, whatever they do, voodoo, hoodoo, any of it. any of
Lakers
it.
in 5.
The Big 12 is preying on bended knee, 90s R&B style, white button down, opened up on a knee
Tim
in the
Tebow after a
rain.
touchdown.
Like they are praying and hoping that BYU wins so that they can get 2 teams in. Especially because again, you get more money. You get money. They made it like the NCAA basketball tournament now, where you get a unit for each team in and as far as they go. So you instantly double the money. So Texas Tech don't give a fuck, but everybody else is hoping that BYU wins this game.
Which is why I'm saying the backroom politics, all of that goes into it.
For sure.
I hate it here. Anyway.
Midday.
Then we have the same
Georgia,
SEC
Bama.
championship that we always fucking see.
Somehow. Georgia, Bama.
Hey.
We didn't pick these. Who's winning? Georgia, Bama. Who's winning?
I don't care.
Bama.
All right, Dante. Who's winning?
Georgia.
Bama.
Georgia.
I think I'm gonna go with Bama. I think Georgia has looked.
I would love for both teams to lose. However, that is not an option.
Both teams
so.
lose.
However, that's not an option. So if I have to suffer through one fan base versus the other, I would choose to suffer with the Georgia fan base, not the Bama fan base. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the Texas fan base has been insufferable. So I can't take any more SEC fan bases.
Listen, evening we have Ohio State, Indiana, which is a historic game, and I am not just saying that because I'm an Ohio State fan. This is the first ever, at least in the Big Ten, 1-2 matchup in the Big Ten championship game, and it is one of few ever in general. Like,
and
I'm sure it's happened.
If God is just as the sport should be, then every championship would be the 1-2. But anyway,
well,
go ahead.
Can't have
1-2 in the conference. Go ahead.
No. Like this is 1 and 2.
I know you mean in the AP polls.
Yeah. And then we have Duke, Virginia.
It's gonna be a confusing game unless y'all wear black.
No, that's so true. Because again, back to the Giants versus the Patriots, the uniforms were very
in the Big Ten. There's so many red and white teams, man.
Yeah. There's so much red and white. It's crazy.
At least Indiana is not scarlet because there's
they're
multiple
like maroon, right?
scarlet.
Or maroonish.
They call it crimson. I think it's maroon though.
They're a little brighter. Yeah, you're right.
It's just a little. It's hard. It's not that much distinction.
Somebody needs to not wear red though. Yes, that would be nice.
Or
black versus white would be nice. Black versus white.
That's
red
probably
numbers
what's going to end
white
up
numbers
being.
with red outline. I could get into
race war. I'm just kidding,
bro. And then we have number 18 versus 7 and 5.
Man, this is get it out the mud.
And I'm rooting for Duke because I just think it would be hilarious.
Come on, Virginia. Come on, Virginia.
No, because it's not my fault you let a 7 and 5 get into your championship game. Now
it's not my fault either.
Now for 365
Telling
days,
the defense to get their shit together and stop pissing me off.
For 365 days, the ACC has to walk around and act like they proud that Duke won. I'm rooting for that. I'm sorry. Change your rules.
I saw
I don't agree, but change the rules.
If Duke wins, it'll truly prove that they need to push to change that rule. If just Duke being in there doesn't do it enough,
we're going to be talking about it in like fucking March. The ACC is going to change their tiebreaker rules.
They got to. They got to.
This season is enough. I think they figured it out.
Especially since there's a good chance you don't get a single team.
Yeah,
and 2 or 3 teams you got at 10 and 2.
And
not any of them made it. That's crazy.
And they might not be the only ones to change their tiebreaker rules either. Because if anyone has similar rules, even though it didn't happen to them, they're gonna be like,
"Oh, yeah, you're right." Just seeing this happen, you're
like, "Can we? we need to
if
change
anything,
that."
You should have learned from the Big Ten when it was like we keep getting Iowa at 7 and something in this Big Ten championship game.
But that was divisions. You couldn't help that.
Yeah, but that's why they got rid of divisions.
They figured it out. Is the
point?
That's
what I'm saying.
but they didn't think about the tiebreakers at all because they was used to divisions. There's gonna be I think there's gonna be a couple teams that change this. A couple conferences that change the tiebreakers.
I think I saw somebody said, someone said a school from Texas getting beat by a school from California to send a basketball school from North Carolina to the championship is peak conference realignment.
Insane.
And I was like, honestly, yes. Yes. But
insane.
Now we got to watch Ass versus Virginia. And See what let me not talk too much shit about Duke. I mean, like, good job, y'all. Y'all won 7 games, whatever.
I mean, I love
But
this for their players, but like,
they're gonna have a time. You know,
possible.
Charlotte is great. Hopefully, they book Clutch Kitchen and Bar for their tailgate beforehand. You know, whatever.
Yeah, it'd be cool, but wow.
But wow, is right.
To wrap up the show, our last 2-minute report. My last 2-minute report. I'm glad that I'm not a twin. I'm then also glad that my twin is not significantly better at me at the thing that we jointly have done our entire life. Did you know? I'm going somewhere, but did you know?
There's several. Which one? Oh, the poor thing. No.
What?
He plays
Cooper
basketball.
Flagg's twin brother does play basketball.
What's his name? Colin?
Probably Colin.
You don't even know his name.
No,
you know what? Telling us about him.
I don't remember his name. His twin brother plays at his twin brother plays at Maine. So
why are people willing to go to Maine?
Ace.
Going to Maine?
It's Ace
I'm even
Flag.
forgetting that
Doesn't
Maine
make
is an
sense.
actual state.
Ace
Trying to hear about
Flag,
it.
Ace and Cooper.
That's
But
how do you shove out two babies?
These feel like military nicknames.
Maybe because I'm
They
like, how do you shove
probably
out
are.
two babies? You're
I
like,
actually,
what?
I actually think their mom was in the military. But here's the thing: you didn't know. You didn't know that he had a twin brother.
Why would I?
One was the #1 player in the country. One was playing with the NBA players and the Olympics. One went to Duke and then became the #1 pick, and the other one is playing at Maine. Twin brothers, same mom, same womb, same birth at the same time. That's not the only one. Do you know who the best player potentially in college basketball right now as a man is?
Well, you know I don't know about the man. Sorry.
Cam Boozer, who is the son
of Carlos Boozer.
Carlos Boozer.
He does have fucking twins. Holy shit, he does
Carlos
have fucking
Boozer
twins.
Has twins. Cam Boozer and Caden Boozer. Hold on. Let me.
I remember when they showed them. They had posted them both in high school a couple years back, and they was like, "Do you feel old?" And I was like, "Yes, nigga, yes I do." Because what do you mean? Carlos Boozer has twins in high school.
Well, and here's the thing. This is again no shade to either the brothers, because at least Caden is also good enough to get on Duke's team. It's not Duke and Maine, right?
Both playing for the right?
Yeah, but
okay.
I
know about these twins.
They follow their father's footsteps.
No, they're not both playing. Because here's the thing. Cam Boozer is arguably the best player in the country and is one of a few people in for the #1 pick. Cam Boozer is also 6'9" and 250. Would you like to guess how big his brother is? Twins.
They must be fraternal.
Brother.
6'1".
6'4", 203. Now, 6'4" is still basketball size, of course. But when your brother, twin,
point guard shooting
is 6'9", 250, and the best player, we couldn't have split it. We couldn't have both been 6'6", 230. We couldn't have both been 6'6", 230. You had to have 5 inches, 45 pounds, and be. We've been playing this sport together.
The weight's different. You could put that on. At least with the weight,
we've been playing this sport together from the womb. And you are the number.
The literal one.
If I was Ace Flag or Cam Flag, that's our contract. Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't steal from me in the goddamn womb. When you sign a contract, I'm signing. Give me a third, and I'm only asking for a third, even though we're twins, because you did earn it because you're better than me. I need a third of that contract. When you get a deal, I get a deal. You sign with Nike, I sign with Nike. You sign with Puma, I sign with Puma. You go to
so now you're Giannis with Thanasis.
But they're not
how
twins.
People been talking about that.
But yes,
it don't matter.
Yes,
it don't matter.
Yes, I am. I want. You see what he did? I want that twin brother. 5 inches, 45 pounds. You're the best player in the country. And again, the Boozer brothers isn't as bad. You're the #1 player in the country. You're 17. We're 17, and you're getting calls to fly for a free trip to Paris to play with LeBron and Steph and KD, and I'm at fucking home. Yeah, bro.
I'm sure he brought him with him.
I don't think so, because he wasn't paying for that trip. It doesn't matter if he brought him with it. Basketball called him. And I'm the twin brother. I'm at home with mom. I'm eating mom's fucking spaghetti, and you're playing goddamn LeBron. You're dunking on KD. I saw the video. I would be pissed, personally.
I can tell.
If I was that twin brother.
I don't know if I'd be pissed. I'd be happy for my brother.
If he added me to the contract.
It'll suck. Because, like, I want that as well.
Give me.
I would be happy for my brother.
And they literally cannot
like, I'm human.
Because
I'm human, so there will be a bit of envy.
We could have been. We could have been. Dante, I'm sorry. What are the twins that was on the Lakers?
Markieff and
yes,
Marquise
Morris
and
twins.
Morris.
We could have been the Morris twins. Neither one of them was a star, but they were both good, and they both played 15 years. We could have split that. We could have been the same size, but instead you had to steal my height, my ability in the womb. You was kicking my ass in the womb, come out, and now I'm a scrub, and you the best player in the country. You're selfish. We were supposed to split this 50-50.
He's calling Cooper Flag and Cam all for one.
Yes, yes, they could have been. They both could have been 6'6", 230. One is 6'9", 250, and the other is 6'4", 205. Yes. Selfish. Add me to the contract. I don't want your generosity. I'm signing my name too. We're twins. You wouldn't be this good if we weren't here together. That's all I'm saying.
I have nothing to say to that. That is,
and the fact that this is happening in back-to-back classes is crazy.
Now that's kind of interesting. That is actually very interesting. I will be honest, my 2 a.m. warning is not as jovial because I will never take my foot up off of Kathy Englebert's neck, and let me tell you the fuck why. So, y'all know that I haven't discussed what's going on with the WNBA CBA recently because every time we have a show, there hasn't really been like a super update. Obviously, the CBA negotiations got extended, right? So it was supposed to be October 31st. They're supposed to come to a deal. They extended it to the end of November. Obviously, it is now December 2nd, and we ain't got no deal yet, right? Okay, so the last time we spoke about this, actually, I remember very distinctly, I was talking about the WNBA weaponizing the media against the players to try to sway public opinion about what the players do or do not deserve because they recognize that the public opinion matters. And the PA have been classy and not been doing that and not been putting information out there about what the WNBA is saying or offering or whatever, because these are essentially supposed to be private negotiations. I don't know who broke the news, but news broke today of another iteration of the deal that they are now talking $1 million salaries. OMG, it only took us twisting your arm twice to get to that point. Okay, great. We're talking $1 million max salaries, right? Revenue share is still a problem. It is still not something that they're willing to budge on. And now they have proposed that there will no longer be any team-provided housing. And they want the season to start sooner, maybe mid-March. So that way they can have longer training camps and be more prepared for the season.
And,
if the WNBA hates the players...
is it because they're also bringing in 2 other teams as well eventually? So, because that would make sense. Because you're adding teams, so
why would you start your season in the middle of the seasons of players that you plan to draft?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Why would you start your season in the middle? Now, mind you, training camp. But that means most of your rookies aren't going to be able to make training camp.
Well, baseball does that. I also think hockey does that. That's just kind of the issue with, I know for a fact baseball does. That's just kind of the issue with summer sports. I listen, I don't like all of it. I do understand because you can't change the season. I do understand that, yes, we added more games, and if we're gonna be honest, we're going to add more games eventually again because we're adding new teams. I don't mind moving up the season, and then it's just you just have to deal with player development. It just doesn't align. There are other sports where that doesn't align. That is unfortunate, especially for the rookies, but also it may help the rookies because it sucks for them to have to go from their season to then playing in 3 weeks. You can do a rookie minicamp thing and work them in mid-season, and it's awkward, but to me, I didn't mind that because it's just it sucks. The rookies play all this time. They get 2 weeks off, and then they have to play. And you're mad because the schedule's compressed. The only way to not compress the schedule is to extend it. I
Right,
guess
it's
you
to
could
extend
argue
it,
to
but if you're
extend it on the
not
back end, but then you're running into college football and all the other kind of things, and you can say that doesn't matter. But the people who are giving you the contracts aren't going to give you more money because they're not going to put you on TV when the NFL, like, you want that
but that's
ESPN
also
contract.
assuming that we're talking just about ESPN, who's not the only option to stream
But
sports.
all of them are in college football.
That
ESPN,
all of them are in
ABC,
college football.
NBC, Peacock,
Yes, all of the networks are all
Netflix,
in all
like
the sports, though.
Now I'm thinking of the consumer, and that just
It's
becomes a
not
problem.
great. It's
That
from
becomes a
consumer standpoint,
problem.
it's not great that all of the services are now all with the sports because now it's costing us upwards of $600+
yeah.
just to watch sports. But what I'm getting at is there's also the problem of like, okay, you want to extend the season. I don't think that's the worst thing ever because to your point, there's ways to structure around it. But then that means we also need to expand these rosters. That means
Yes.
we also need to
Oh,
expand
yes.
because the bigger issue is injuries and how lengthy the season is. You're talking about lengthening the season, but not putting any provisions in for injuries. Plus, you are also a league that thrives on temporary players that move around quite often, and you're not going to provide housing for these people anymore. You're not going to provide housing for a rookie fresh out of college who probably isn't going to stay in that city for the entire year if they end up getting traded or if they end up getting released. And you're not going to provide housing for them. Now they're signing leases, places that they can't stay. If you don't want to pay these women for real, we need to start having that conversation because that's where it's coming from. That's what it's looking like. Because it's looking like, okay, well, if we pay you, now we have to get rid of this one thing because they just can't seem to let these women have it all. And that's what's getting annoying to me is like, you're a league that thrives on player movement, that thrives on players moving around and not staying with the team for an entire season. Why would you not provide housing?
They're unfortunately trying to negotiate like the NFL and NBA, whereas your players are bigger than the program.
They're bigger than the program. The players are bigger than the program, especially now. They're the biggest they've ever been. They probably have always, arguably, they've always been bigger than the program, if you ask me. There are some stars that got
because the
fumbled.
WNBA has been ran poorly.
Exactly. I'm like, there are some stars that got fumbled. Diana Taurasi got severely fumbled with the way that she was promoted within the league, things like that. Lisa Leslie severely fumbled. Sue Bird, even, they fumbled her because, it got a little weird when she finally came out and they didn't know what to do because she wasn't femme anymore. Like, they have fumbled multiple times with stars, but that doesn't negate the fact that the girls have always been bigger than the program. So for you to still be sitting here and being like, here, we don't want to house you, but we'll pay you. Shut up. What are you talking about? Like, at this point, if I don't get in WNBA basketball next season,
you could eventually talk about getting rid of those things when you start really
they're making real money.
Money and stuff. But right now, you're gonna have to continue to take the loss with the money you bringing in. You're gonna have to continue to do the things you've been doing
because
you still don't have the amount of you don't have the teams. You only got 12, 14 teams. What is
13.
the number? 13? You only got 13 teams. You got to continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Until you get up to 22 teams or something like that.
Not to sound tinfoil hatty, but I think it's also because they're not ready to really be transparent about where all this money is going. Because I feel like that's where the problem is, too.
Yeah.
They have not been very transparent about where this money is going. All this expansion fees that these teams are paying, where is the money going?
There might be some embezzlement and fraud in
where's the money going? Because if I'm not getting it as a
surprised.
player, if the teams aren't necessarily getting it right, because not every team has the same like level of facilities and stuff like that, and it requires private investment in order for that to even happen. Where is all the money going? It can't be going to operational costs because officials are not full-time employees like they are for the NBA. They have to do both WNBA and college games, which is why the officiating is so bad.
It's not like you're giving them real gym areas, real trainers.
No facilities, no trainers. You only started chartering them last year. You only started charter flights last year.
You're absolute. There should have been an investigation probably from the FBI into the WNBA.
Where's the money?
Long time ago.
Where's the fucking money? Because I know that that the NBA shaves off the top. We understand that the NBA is going to get their cut, ownership gets their cut, things like that. So there already isn't like, it's not even like the WNBA has a full pie to work with. But even at a partial pie, where are the dollars? This does not make any sense. And you're playing in these women's faces and making it seem like they don't deserve to ask for those things. And they absolutely do. And that's where my problem lies, is that these women actually deserve what they're asking for. There's no $2 billion TV deals if they're not deserving of that.
Because as a company, most companies work at a net profit loss. Like it's a net loss for a while. But the fact that you've had a subsidizing company that has been working at a positive for at least the past 20,
50
maybe
years.
30 years. No, because I
40
would
years,
say
about 40, yeah.
I'd say about 30. They
Yeah.
were profitable in like late 80s going on.
80s,
So I
yeah.
like 30
30 years
going
ago was the
on
90s,
40s.
Dante. We're
I
old.
was like, all right, going on 40s, going into 40s, going on 40 years. So again, for about 40 years, that's been a profitable. You've been getting subsidized by a profitable company. Yeah, you work at a net loss, but since you're being subsidized, where's the money going?
Where's the money?
Where's the money going? Because if it's going back to paying the NBA, then at some point you could talk to the NBA and be like, all right, look, we'll pay you back, but you got to let us take some time to not, instead of giving it as soon as we get our money, we give it all right back to you. Nah, let's get at a chunk, which I think that's probably what the NBA is working at. So again, where's it going? Because I refuse to believe the NBA will help you and then be like, all right, pay me back all of it right now.
Right now, when y'all are at a loss. That's the thing. That's why I'm like, there's just something is not clean. Some don't make no sense. And honestly, if the players decide that this is in their, because I also, let me be clear, Jordan, what my other issue with the starting the season in March thing is. It also feels like a purposeful move to encroach upon players that play in other leagues, such as Unrivaled or the other league that's the bigger international league that I can't think of that's coming up. Or if they play in Big Three, or if they play in Athletes and whatever. The point is, or if they play overseas, if you make the season go up further and they already have in the CBA the prioritization rule, you're making players that play overseas break their contracts to come back. They're trying to stop them from playing other places, and you cannot do that if you're not paying them. Pay them, and then they won't play other places.
If you're not paying them and you only have 13 fucking teams.
Like, pay them and they're not playing other places. They're probably still playing in a rival, to be honest.
13 teams with 12-man rosters. What are we doing?
So that's one of my other issue, too, is, Jordan, is that it feels like a direct attack on Unrivaled, specifically because Unrivaled season is still going on at that time. And they have been saying that they wanted to put a provision in there to say that players could not play an Unrivaled. And as you know, Fee was not going for that shit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think that Unrivaled being new, they can be flexible with it. The other things with like the overseas and stuff like that, I personally just don't really care that much about that because if you're paying them, they won't go.
Exactly.
And also after the Brittany Griner thing, people have stopped doing that anyways. So it's just kind of like, I mean, there are multiple big stars who stopped going overseas. Like
there are big stars, but if you're talking about your average WNBA player, they're still going overseas.
Right, but when you're paying them more, they're
right,
not.
Yeah.
And in the CBA,
the point
at
is
least
they're trying not to. And then
but the numbers that they put out is like the average salary would be $500,000, and the top would be $1 million. For a lot of them, especially when the minimum salary would be like $250. When the minimum is currently $70, I do think there's a decent number of players who then wouldn't go overseas for $250,000. So like that part is whatever. The Unrivaled thing though, that's bullshit. But I also think Unrivaled, especially with all the players and things, could adjust a little bit. And literally the only point that I'm on is the season, and that it is hard for the players to say, I don't like the compressed season, but you can't move it. Because they just, like, if you want the league to grow, you do need more games. Like when the league is finally at 16, 18, well, but they have to, because they just said the timeline that we have 44 games is too short. The only way to do it is
the same time that they were playing 30 something.
Right, but exactly. So if you're adding games, the only thing to do is either move the season in the beginning or move it in the end, but the season has to be long. Like that has to happen.
Yeah,
no matter what.
I don't think there's opposition to the season expanding. It's you cannot expand the season and expand the number of games without expanding the resources. So it's like I should not be expected to play 44 games in the same period of time with the same size roster. That's crazy.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, especially because they're only leaking the things that they want to. So like hypothetically, they could have already agreed on the roster. Like we don't know. I'm just saying, like, specifically on moving the season, that to me is fine because you have to do it, because they're not going to stop at 44 games. When they get to 20 teams, it's probably going to be fit. Like the season, because I was saying that last year, the season has to be extended. One way or the other.
I mean,
it has to
just
start
for the
earlier or go
matchups
longer.
and all of that. Yeah,
like,
it has to.
These girls are playing 4 games in a week sometimes. Like it just has to move.
Yeah.
And also, to make more money, you need more inventory. Eventually, the playoff is going to have to expand. You're going to, because it's not like, obviously, there's a lot of the section and all other kind of things, but like when you have 82 games, you're going to get more money than 40. So, like, that is one thing where like the players do have to give up on that, because eventually, to get the more money, you need the more games, you need the longer playoff, you need these things, and all of that will come. So that's why the only thing I'm saying specifically is I don't mind them moving the season, because if the season's not longer, you can't add to the playoffs, you can't add more games, you can't do any of those kind of things. But I agree 100%, of course, that you can't extend the season without other things. And
I just think it's very pointed that now all of a sudden we want to extend training camp when training camp was a talking point in previous iterations of the CBA. That now all of a sudden there's a league that's beating your ass. You want to extend training camp to then, because again, I have no doubt that they're going to try to find a way to make the prioritization rule about more than just overseas leagues. Like the WNBA has a fundamental problem with the fact that there are other leagues making potentially more money off of the players that were publicized in their league, right?
so,
So that's
well,
where
I have a question.
That is
I have,
also a
okay,
huge
so
problem.
here's the thing. I have a question, and we're running long, so this is going to be a great off-season podcast in the future when we can talk about it more. Every league, the NFL closed multiple leagues, including spring football, which doesn't even affect them. The NBA merged with the ABA and closed other leagues. Ultimately, if and the I guess, because no one really knows the answer, right? If the WNBA was doing all the things that they were supposed to be doing, would the other leagues exist? So like, I don't
No.
think
No.
I think the players are right for asking for more and saying we won't close these leagues until, but I can't fully call the NBA the villain either. When I'm watching the MLS is trying to get rid of leagues in other countries. The NWSL is trying to restrict other soccer leagues, the women's soccer leagues, and they're trying to make it so other soccer leagues can't even get D1 like professionalization from the U.S. soccer, so they're not competitive.
Crazy.
The NBA has a hella history doing that. The NFL used to be 3 different, like all of these leagues go through it, and we're just seeing it with the WNBA because it's happening now. But soccer did it 10 years ago. The NWSL is doing it now. The NFL did it 50 years ago. It's just like
shut down the
that's
league
gonna
when you can
happen.
provide better than what the league is providing. Nobody gives a shit after that. If you're going to shut down a league, you're providing better than what the league is providing. Currently, the WNBA is getting swept by these other leagues.
Which is, but and the nature of business, it would be nice for the WNBA to do that. They're not going to do it until the players make them. And to that point, the players are making them. But yeah,
Exactly.
the WNBA is trying to close these other leagues because it's a fucking business thing. Like that, to me, that's not something worth getting mad over. They're going to do that anyway. It's up to the players to not let them. And so far, they haven't. And that is good on the players. They haven't given up that, which is important.
Which I do think the whole point of my 20-minute warning was I am I'm at a point where I am fully prepared, and I've been saying this for a few months, but I'm at a point where I'm fully prepared to not be watching WNBA basketball next season, which sucks, especially for the girls who are slated to get drafted this season. And the expansion and all of that. So the WNBA is going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But I'm like, I'm sorry. Just like if I was a player, like you're not going to keep playing in my face like this.
Yeah.
Like
They're
I
not the
am not
first
doing
league
this
to
with
have a
you.
work stoppage, and they're not going to be the last one. NBA's had one in our lifetime.
Yeah, every
NFL's
league has had one.
NBA,
Yeah.
the NBA and the
shortened
NFL have
season.
had 2 in our lifetime.
Yeah, so
Here's the
it's
thing.
just like,
It's time. It's time for the first
yeah.
WNBA lockout. Like I'm
And
advocating
honestly,
for
that is an important step. Like it's shitty for everyone involved, but that's an important step. Like you got to
Didn't they have a
stand up.
lockout before?
Huh?
No, this will be their first one. That's why
This
they
gonna
got
be first?
close. They got close for not
Yeah.
this CBA, but the
The
one
one right
before it. They
before,
got
yeah.
close. But they signed it like 2 days before the draft or something like that. Like it was like very much like, are we getting WNBA basketball in 2009? We did, obviously, but and then this CBA was different because they were negotiating at a time where COVID was not a thing yet. And so there was a lot that was affected by COVID that would have like informed the CBA a little bit better, but they negotiated it in 2019. So there was like revenue numbers in it, like were numbers that the WNBA would have arguably met had it not been for what had ended up happening with shutting down the season and all that other stuff. So there were so many things in the CBA that didn't even really get to like actually get fleshed out because COVID kind of shafted them a little bit. So there has not been a lockout before. But if there's any time to have one, it's probably now, because this is the most leverage the players will probably ever have.
You gotta show them you mean business.
You gotta show them that we are indeed the players, not me. But if I was one, bigger than the program.
Fair? No, that's fair.
Okay. Jordan has a paper to write. So Dante, do you have your?
Nah.
He said y'all covered.
We had that was a good one. We're running long anyway, so I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and I said I didn't have 3 hours. So.
we are pushing that. All right. Well, as always, thank you for listening. We will be back next week with we'll be back maybe on Sunday, maybe on Monday. It depends on when the playoff is announced, because we have to wait for that to record. So we'll be back sometime next week, and we'll know officially who's in the playoffs. We'll know some bold things, and maybe Penn State will have a coach. Who knows? Thanks as always for listening. We'll catch you next week.